Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to eRacing GP Global Edition Season 13, Round 2. Here we are at the Nurburgring GT circuit, and my name is Damon. I'm joined here by Amo Hazik. We will be your commentators for the entire night tonight.
Absolutely. And we're kind of looking forward to it because this is not the usual Nürburgring that we know of for the Grand Prix circuit. We're basically going for the ACC layout where it bypasses the NGK chicane and was going straight to the final sector. But while we're going to go into the subject of the circuit, let's go through what the standings look like first coming into this one. The first one is the copper standings. And so far is the first ever double winner plus pole position and both fastest laps taken for the season. Raja Miroshaka leads the way in front of Tehan Eranga and Sharvinesh Mohan Nair. So that is your top three after the first round, but still all to play for as we come into the second round.
Yeah, Raja Miroshaka definitely dominated last week, but we'll see if he'll be able to keep his position on the Nürburgring GP circuit. Speaking of the circuit, why don't we take a look at the layout here? You can see the circuit is about 5 kilometers long, so a bit longer than the last round we had at Catalunya. Lots of more technical sections here. A lot of actually kind of blind corners where you don't actually know. Sometimes the lines get tricky.
Yep, absolutely. And some parts of the circuit can become a bit one-laned, as we would see once we enter the qualifying session proper. But chances to overtake, quite not to say not a plenty, but there's plenty of space to overtake. Like turn number 1, that's the prime overtaking spot. And coming up to the chicane, if you really go side by side, manage to get ahead of somebody, then that's a possible overtaking spot. But apart from that, it's premium, but not impossible.
Yeah, but do you also know what overtaking spots are? They're also incident spots. So we'll have to watch out to see if these drivers will manage to keep themselves under control, be able to have a nice clean race as we're going into the session now. Practice is just wrapped up, so now everyone is getting ready for qualifying. Again, a lot of drivers to look out for. Chief case being Raja Amiro Shaukat, who doesn't since... Oh, there he is. He's in P4 in the pits right now.
Yep, and he's the one that we are looking out for because he is the guy who won both races last week, got 2 of the fastest laps and pole position. So he is really in red hot form. We just say one race red hot form, but you get the idea. This the kind of guy that the drivers have to watch out for and keep behind in the review mirrors.
Yeah, I think this is the first incident we'll see where one of the drivers actually got the maximum possible amount of points for one race day. The 49, which is quite insane for me to think. He does have some competition, of course. Tehan Eranga, you can see that not on the screen right now, but he is in second place, just behind. Driver from Sri Lanka, also pretty fast on the track. Only issue is that he did make a couple of mistakes last time around. We'll hope to see if he'll be able to keep his composure and try to keep the mistakes to a minimum this time around.
Yep. Eranga, of course, part of the Sri Lanka Sim Racing Lanka team. Wow, Sri Lanka Sim Racing Lanka. It's just one go. They haven't had an armada of drivers because last season we only had a couple of them. They were probably just dipping their toes, getting to know the league in its entirety firsthand before coming full guns blazing for this one. Because by my count, I think there's about 7 of them in this season's eRacing GP.
Yeah, and there are definitely a few drivers that stand out from that group. A couple of drivers at the top. You have, you can see Samarakun there. He didn't really do quite well last time around, but we'll have to see if he'll be able to turn his luck around for this particular instance. Aside Tehan Arangka, there was one more Sri Lankan driver that was in the top 10 last week. We can find his name there somewhere.
That would be Govindu Samarakun and Nirosh Yeshin.
Yeah, Nirosh Yeshin. That's another one of the drivers that we definitely do have to look out for from this team here. But there is a few other drivers also on the board that we definitely have to pay attention to as well. We just have to wait and see. This is, after all, only round 2. This is basically the halfway point of Global Edition 13 right now, as we're coming out of the pits as every driver gets ready for their flying lap.
Yep, in fact, the first guy out on track is Ryan Musin. It looks as though that we may have had a bit of a problem with the server itself. The game may be frozen, but we can show you that everybody's out on track at the moment. So hang on, stay tuned until then. But Okay, now we're back live again. Thank God for that. And we've kind of paused again, so we're gonna go straight back onto the big screen. Let's see what happened here. Okay, now we're back and we're ready to go in for the action here. Fakir Faris, a returning driver, running out the back of the grid, but I don't think we could get any driver who was out first just now because it seemed to have crashed the game. But apart from that, who are you looking forward to in qualifying? As we can see, a couple of drivers already finding the walls early on. Who do you think is going to be the one storming up in front, Damon?
I mean, obviously, the clear favorite for me, for us right now, at least in this particular season, is, of course, Raja Amirul Shaukat. It'd be interesting to see. We saw him during the practice run earlier. He did end up setting the fastest time there as well. And look at him here. Smart tactic, trying to get as much clean air as possible so he can go for his flying lap without any worries. Aside from that, there are a few more drivers I can look out for. Of course, AJ Ahmed, a returning driver to the Copper League from last season as well. Genevieve Oy, I think one of the only girls we have on track this time around as well. This is the first, second online race now.
Yeah, and she had a very promising first race despite being punted out in both races. She was riding in the dizzying heights of P10 at one point.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that came a cropper, but it shows that she has the promise, and she was in the top 15 in practice prior to the start of this session, so keep an eye out for her. She might just bring a surprise here.
Yeah, definitely. Another few drivers there. Chris Arazanso as well. I think he did okay for race 1. Not so well for race 2, if I remember correctly. Ryan Musin, as you mentioned, of course, another fast driver. A lot of these drivers are quick or they're on pace. It's just the racecraft of them needs a little bit of improvement, and hopefully, of course, Global Edition 13 will provide them the improvement that they need. We've got, I think, about 30 drivers on the grid for this time around.
I think 26.
Yeah,
26. So a couple of drivers coming in and out of the server. We saw just now, I think Matthew Grange tried to come in. So I'm not sure why he's actually racing in copper, because he should be in bronze. He's been doing bronze for the last couple of seasons, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I forgot to mention as well, one more driver we definitely have to look out for is, of course, Shavinesh Mohane. His brother Lavinesh won last season and is now racing in the Bronze League. So we're eagerly waiting to see whether or not he'll be able to join him there. But he didn't have the most stellar performance last season and last race.
Yeah, looking at his results, Shavinesh, well, he did qualify third, finished second in the first race, and then didn't have the best of second races. Yes, he finished fifth that time around, but you might think he will love to have come out guns blazing, but he's now, as we stand, 20 points behind Raja Amirul Shaukat. So that's early doors, not the best of starts in his opinion, but
yeah,
he would love to actually get up to Raja Amirul in this second race. Get at him.
Yeah. It's still anyone's race at this point for now. At the very least, maybe we'll see more consolidated drivers near the top by round 3. Of course, we're coming out to the point where we're definitely starting to see some patterns behind these drivers. We'll just have to see if they'll be able to keep it up there. As you can see, I think these are the very first qualifying laps out now. Ryan Musin in front on pole with 2:24. Xavier Koo right behind him, about 2/10 behind. Shavinesh qualifying in third again. Of course, most of these drivers were on their outlap, and we'll just have to see whether or not Raja Amirul Shaukat claims the fastest lap again.
Yeah. But of course, it's still early doors. We have not seen the proper competitive times yet. In fact, we're gonna see it being set right now with Ryan Musin coming out of the final corner, then onto the start-finish straight. Would this be an improvement to his previous lap time? Across he goes. It will be a 2-minute 21.8. That's a slight improvement, but Raja Amirul Shaukat goes to the top in front of Shavinesh. So these three are actually following each other around, but it's Raja Amirul again on pole position by 0.8 of a second ahead of Shavinesh, with now 0.2 because Savi Rathanayake comes up to P2.
Oh, I think Raja Amirul Shaukat will be pretty happy with that lap. He did end up spinning out, couldn't set another lap just in case. Savi Rathanayake, also a driver that we didn't actually really see that much of in race 1, just came out of the gates blisteringly quick. 2:18.9, very fast lap indeed. Chavinesh trailing just a little bit behind, still qualifying in third though, so that's still pretty good. Tehane Ranga in fourth with a 2:26. As I say that, his teammate Samara-kun pipped him by just a tenth at 2:20.5.
Yeah, a couple of the drivers setting fast times in the second full-time laps, we should say, because first is just basically a banker lap they put in.
Yeah.
Now this is the proper run. We see Mikael Iqbal coming up to P7, 2:20.8, so that's a good run for the 14-year-old, turned 15 this year. He's up there and in front of Xavier Koo, knowing Xavier how fast he can be sometimes as well. Nice to see him up there. Genevieve Oy, we were highlighting her earlier. She's P14 right now, but probably not the best time so far yet, at least from these drivers.
Yeah, definitely see some room for improvement for these drivers. Of course, still getting used to the car. Some of them probably have never really driven this particular layout of the Nurburgring before.
Yeah, in fact, most of us would be used to the Nürburgring layout where it kind of goes into the Vidor chicane or the NGK chicane where it tightens up. This one, it literally goes a quick left and a right straight to the final corner. So it's a fast blast. And unfortunately, what meets you on both sides are barriers that cover the grass that goes into those corners. So you wouldn't want to go off anyway.
Yeah, definitely. If you go off that, it would probably spell the end of your race. I've driven these cars a couple of hours ago, and they're really grippy. Of course, they're being low-powered rear-wheel drive cars. They can still have the tail out if you go a bit ham on the throttle on corner exit. But the one thing that you really have to be aware of, especially in this class of car, are curbs. Because curbs are not nice to be on, especially in a car like this. It really unsettles the suspension, and then you just lose all grip in your tires.
Absolutely, and when it starts to step out, you really lose that precious time that you gain, especially when you count the exits going onto the straight. So you really don't want to stuff up any way you go. As a couple of other drivers have improved their lap times, Govindu Samarakun, we're looking at right now 4,000s behind Mika Iqbal, and Tehane Ranga goes out to 4th, Xavier Koo to 5th. So our pick to have some of the drivers being fast are proven true. Samarakun goes out to P5, and that's 1 point for him. But look at that. 3 of the SRL guys, Sim Racing Lanka drivers, are in the top 5. Rathanayake and Eranga, before Samarakun was actually knocked up because Donny Sadewa actually came up to P4. So all changed then, but nothing changes at the front because it still stays the same with Raja Miroshakat on pole position once again.
Again, scoring the fastest lap points for this race, starting on pole as well. So last race, he was uncontested, completely and utterly uncontested. Didn't even see a different driver on track the entire moment he was on there. We'll see if things wrapped up differently. This is, of course, the Nürburgring, and turn 1 for the Nürburgring GP circuit is very notorious for causing a lot of incidents.
Yeah, you might call that a choke point because we call it in shooting games a choke point. But in racing, there's also choke points. Notoriously, Monza turn 1.
Yeah,
that's a famous choke point. But it's the Mercedes Arena here at the Nürburgring, which I think most of us will have gripes with because it's such a tricky first corner. It tightens up on, it widens on the entry, tightens on the exit, and then it continues to snake around there. It just creates more and more kerfuffles as it goes through.
Yeah, and if you don't have a good line to the first corner, you immediately don't have a good line for the next curve on turn 2 and turn 3. It's very difficult, and because it tightens up, everyone who goes side by side has to pick a line, and then sometimes that line will always have traffic in it. So there's a high chance it could be a lose-lose situation for any drivers that end up in that position.
Absolutely, and either way, you're gonna have to start either way at the front or right at the back, but you can avoid the chaos. Anything in the middle, you're definitely gonna get stuffed.
So we just have to see if these drivers manage to keep it under control. Of course, it's basically like a funnel, right? Is what we're saying. If you're starting at the back here, it's perfectly fine. Of course, you'll be able to clear the traffic. You won't have the best line through T1, but sometimes not having the best line gives you opportunities later on because the people in the best lines will all be clumped up together. They don't really have space to make moves.
Yep. And we'll go from the front. This is what it looks like the run up to turn 1, about 500 meters to turn number 1. And then you got somebody like Rafi Rahaidian, who's way at the back and around the corner here. So he's actually not seeing the start lights. He has to depend on the other guys right in front of him to get off the line.
Yeah.
Just to get through. And likewise, Desita Pereira, you can see where he's...
Yeah, he's already ready. He's already ready. I
he's
just hope
pointing
he
his wheels.
didn't turn the steering wheel a bit too much and then end up on the wrong side of the track immediately.
Absolutely. You wouldn't want to spin immediately and go into the Nordschleife, as you can see on the left there. That's where the track rejoins the current GP Striker layout as he's flashing his lights. So Pereira will be quite interesting to see how he gets through there. Likewise, his fellow countryman, in fact, one of the 9 SRL drivers signed up for the season, Kevin Samarajiwa, he's up in up in front of his teammate, but still behind the top 20 in P21. That's another interesting view because he's basically on the exit of turn number 15 here at the Nurburgring GP Striker GT layout. But in front, this is the look for Raja Amirul Shaukat. He knows full well the task at hand is to try and keep this momentum going because he's got the bit between his teeth here after such a successful and very dominant first round of the season. Lights on the gantry come on, revs rising, and you wouldn't want to actually put in first gear too soon unless you kick in the clutch, because when the lights go out, you can go out of the way and hopefully we get jump starts. We're underway, and that is race number 1 now going here at the Nurburgring with all 24 cars. Now look at that. We saw just now a couple of drivers further behind coming through, and they have made it through safely. So Raja Amirul Shaukat with the whole shot coming into turn 1 as we now enter here the choke point of the entire circuit, and let's see how it's gonna go.
Oh, there's already an incident there. I think Sharvin just went a bit deep in there. You can see there's dents on the side of his car. Might have tried to go on a bit on the wider end of that corner entry, but ended up clipping another car coming in.
Yep, he clipped the side of Savi Rathanyake as he's lucky there to end up not really clouting into anybody else, but no such troubles for Raja Amirul Shaukat. He's got the clean getaway that he wants to, and again, it's a bit deja vu, isn't it? We saw that in the circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia, how he got away that time, and now he's getting away again. Clear up in front with Rathanyake trying to get back at Sharvinesh for that rather late lunge.
Yeah, and if last race was anything to go by, this gap would probably extend to 2.5 seconds by the end of the first lap, right?
Well,
the battles at the back of the grid are going to be slowing down the opponents. Raja Amirul Shaukat, luckily the beneficiary of that, manages to avoid any and all incidents on the very first turn. Clears the traffic quite easily, but now we have battles going on all over the track.
Yep, we're going to focus on a few other drivers as we go. We're not going to focus on Lido too much if he runs away with it. This is Chris Axel Arazanzo. That is the Filipino with a very interesting wallpaper we saw out of screen, but we cannot mention that live on air. But when we focus to his camera now, it's focusing the other way, and it looks as though he's not clamped his wheel completely.
Yeah, oh, that might be a problem if he ends up, you know, the wheel just comes off the base. Might have some issues there, but there is a battle for P11 between him and Mikhail Iqbal there. He did end up extending the gap a little bit as they're coming onto the back straight now into the big chicane just before the final corner.
And speaking of battle into the penultimate chicane prior to the final corner, this is Judiel Nino Gonzalez. And point of note, that surname Gonzalez is important because this is the younger brother to Francis Angelo Gonzalez, and looks as though he's gotten a bit of his brother's chops there by taking the decision away from Ainal Yakin driving for Biff Racing. Onto the start-finish line then. The first lap completed here out of possibly 7 or 8, depending on how fast the leader streaks away at the front. It looks as though no incidents to report in that first lap. It seems clean, unless of course you look further behind. That was probably Desita Pereira. No, in fact, that's his teammate, one of the SRL cars, Kevin Samarajiwa. Yeah, so Samarajiwa had a big moment there. Behind him, that's a bit of a battle between Jason Un and, oh no, that's Franco Fares actually coming through, isn't it? On the outside with, that's a close one. Yeah. Grange goes through, but the battle's still on because the outside becomes the inside for the next corner. They go side by side here, and Grange has to give up that position. He dropped the class for, well, that's unfortunate because for unfortunate reasons. I don't know why he dropped to the copper class because he should be racing bronze, but he's finding that racing in copper is just as intense.
Yeah, definitely. You can see a lot of these drivers, and we go over to Nino Gonzalez and you can see actually his brother is behind him, giving him race strategies, it looks like. just to see his hands poking out just there. Meanwhile, at the front of the grid, Shavinesh Mohamed actually gave up quite a few positions. He got passed by Xavier Koo earlier, but now they're in a battle for P4, as you can see.
And look at that battle raging on here with, by the looks of it, Reyes and Musin. So Musin actually made a good few positions up from where he started. And Reyes goes through. Reyes, a returning driver. He's gotten a bit of tips from Nabil Azlan. Of course, you remember him. He was a prominent figure and a main character in some of the seasons in ERGP. Let's hope that Reyes takes those advices into account. As further behind there, that's Reyes and, that's Musin and Raul Dave going after. Side by side they go. And coming onto the long start back straight, that is going to be very crazy, isn't it? Because I think going side by side is always a bit dangerous, but this is even more so coming into the fast sweepers.
Yeah, they're almost 3 wide there. Musin gets forced off by Rahul Dev, I think it looks like. And he ends up spinning on the grass as well. That's going to be disappointing for him. We're going to have to take a look at the replays later on to see whether or not that was an incident or a penalizing incident. But other than that, I think Ryan Musin didn't really have a good time there.
Yeah, he really got forced out wide. As speaking of not having a good time, somebody else was off in the background. There might be Ainal Yakin. So Ainal Yakin actually went off big time. There's Mikael Iqbal going through, taking 1 point away from him. I was about to say, converse to having a bad time, someone's having a good time. We saw Rafi Rahadian. He was right at the back, turning his wheel to get onto the start finish straight. He's up to P11.
Yeah, the biggest one of the big beneficiaries of this early state kerfuffle that had happened during lap 2, sorry, I should say. Does seem to be having a pretty good run in himself. He's running in clean air. Again, these cars, while they're relatively easy to control, they're also quite tricky in certain situations, especially when you hit uneven curves. They're okay on flat curves, of course, but uneven curves, the suspension gets unsettled, the tires start losing grip, and then you're on 2 wheels for most of it.
Yeah, but luckily the grip on the outside is not enough to make you go completely 2 wheels like Russ Swift, but it's not something you want to have, especially in these cars.
Yeah.
Back to the battle that is for P6 or P7? Yeah, it's P6 because Raul is right behind Mohamed Reyes. He looks one on the inside, coming up to the turn 7 complex. This corner is a bit banking, and if you actually were to run wide, you're going to go off straight into the gravel and just ruin your race. But luckily, both Dave and Reyes managed to get it stopped in time.
Yeah, coming out to Michael Schumacher's at the Michael Schumacher S curves right now. Rahul Dev is still trying to find an angle past Mohamed Reyes. Does seem to get the better run up past the curve though. Coming into turn 10.
Oh, they're still going at it side by side. Reyes stays on the outside, which becomes the inside right here. And Dave might have to look through at the dreaded S's because I think of all the corners on the circuit that we like, there's a one particular section we hate, and that's the S curves because of the curves both on the inside and outside and the walls that has come. Look at that, there's the walls.
Yeah, big barrier there. Could spell the end of your race if you were to veer off and accidentally crash into it. Rahul Dev getting an inside track on that line. He made the pass stick, does cut the corner a little bit there, has to slow down quite a considerable amount, letting Mohamed Reyes through again, and this battle is hotly contested, but just behind him, look at that, Doni Sadewa trying to look for an opportunity past the final curve into the start-finish straight, doesn't seem to be able to make that happen, and now it's a 3-way battle.
Yep, and well, out of all of that, Reyes is actually making beeline for it, so Sadewa now is the one who's actually benefiting the most out of this. He may have dropped a couple of positions from where he started, but it looks as though it's a good recovery as he goes around the outside of Raul Dev. Can he make it stick? Oh, that's going to be quite tricky, isn't it? But good traction out of there. Allows him to go into the inside and take the position away from Dev. This is good racing in the copper class. It's a bit different from what we saw in Barcelona, where we saw plenty of bumping and boring, but this time we see some proper racing.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping themselves under control, keeping themselves cool under pressure. Doni Sadewa actually almost tried closing the doors on Rahul Dev there, but manages to avoid any substantial incidents as now they're coming over. It's still a battle for P6, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, somehow the battle's still on with these guys as we see another position change between... Oh, there's a car going off there! Oh!
That is an unfortunate desynchronization there for one of the cars. I wonder who it was that ended up off the track there.
Yeah, you can see Axel is with Elvis. No, that's not Elvis Wong. It's... Oh, we can't even pick up the car right now. But it's Rafi Rahadian. So Rafi is the one that caused that particular incident.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, oh my god, he shed his wheels and he's flying now.
Oh, he went 88 miles per hour, and where he's going, there will be no roads.
Yeah, we're gonna stop away. We're gonna look away just from there. But out in front, Raja Amir Shaukat is being pressured by Savi Rafnayake.
Yeah, Savi actually has reeled in 2 seconds a lap almost. So the driver that is part of the Sim Racing Lanka group, although he's not spotting deliveries at this point in time, he's managing to get up very close to the back of Raja Amirul. This is not making it easy in the last 5.5 minutes that we are going to have after this.
Yeah, and these drivers are going to get 3 more laps at the most. And 3 laps is a long time in these cars. You do about 220 a lap. So there's definitely opportunities for you to pass, to make a move, or to defend.
Well, in Savi's case, it's to catch up and pass. But the latter may be quite tricky because, of course, we're not sure what Raja Amirul has in his locker. We'll definitely see once he starts defending.
Oh, Savi goes in for the dive, tries to get the entry into turn 1, and she gets it. Forces Raja Amir Shaukat to go wide in the corner. He had to slow down a considerable amount to actually make that corner. I think he braked a little bit too late, but that means he doesn't have the run up into turn 2.
Now, I think that might have been a case of him trying to get rid of a corner cut penalty, because that was very unlike of him to not defend for position, because he is in the lead.
Yeah.
You might think that he's going to defend harder, but he just let Savi through, and now he's the guy who's become the hunter is not being hunted.
Yeah, Raja Amir Shaukat with his first real challenge of Global Edition 13 here has to hunt down P1, being held by Savi Rafnayake. Slowdown penalty may have been quite likely. It is quite... You might find it quite easy to easily corner cut in these tracks, especially when there's a lot of very acute angle corners.
Yeah, given the fact that some of those corners, especially at turn 10, that's where a lot of the wide areas came from. So I think either he cut that or he cut through the NGK chicane. That's where he got the corner cut penalty. But either way, it's not all lost. He's still up there, willing to battle for P1 as we look at Tehan Iranga. Iranga may be a bit further back here, 1.7 seconds behind. This is Raja Amirul. He's back on the pace, so it wasn't a problem after all. That may have been just a slight inconvenience where he cut a corner somewhere and forced to give the position.
Yeah, probably definitely looks like it. He didn't want to slow down. He chose a pretty good place to slow down, if anything. Now he has to find a way to make it back. He has probably about 2 laps left to make his move. As long as he can keep the gap to below a second, I think any corner would spell trouble for Savi Rafnayake if he's not watching his back.
Yeah, Savi then is the one who's having to watch his mirrors here. He doesn't want to be the one caught napping as we come into the final 3.5 minutes here in this first race. Such a good one, actually. It's quite nice to see. It's a refreshing change that Copper can provide some good racing for a change.
Yeah, I think most of the drivers have already ironed out their pet peeves or grievances on the first round, and now we're just having full throttle, full bore, amazing racing coming from the drivers here in the Copper League. Raja Amir Shaukat, again, quite a wide line he takes into T1, trying to cut into the apex of T1 as best as he can.
Yeah, that probably was the case of trying to go for a V line in these cars, which actually most of the time does work because geometric racing line does really pay off for these cars. But sometimes if you could just exploit a bit of grip, just try to get a bit of slip angle into that, you might get more purchase out of it and focus more on getting a better exit with these cars. So that was probably what Raja Amir Shaukat was aiming for the time being at least. Just a couple of seconds off last time, of course. We're not seeing the absolute fastest times.
Yep.
But yeah, 1.3 seconds lost that time around compared to Savi Rafnayake.
Yeah, and I think the V strategy for turn 1 does work because the corner itself is shaped like a V, right? But if you think of it from a different angle, where you go in straight on and then turn quickly into the inside of the apex, you can actually... The MX-5 does have enough steering angle to make the corner while going almost completely straight. So he does have a good run out towards turn 2. But of course, different drivers will always have different strategies. I think Raja Amir Shaukat is definitely faster through the latter 2 sections than Savi, but it's just that turn 1 that he has to try and make a move on.
And he'll have to make a move very soon because we're coming up now to the final lap after this. This is the penultimate lap. Next lap by will be the final one, and looks as though Savi is under severe pressure here. He made a bit of a slight mistake. That was a very poor exit coming out of turn number 11 on the way to 12. This is going to be Raja Amirul's chance here to reel in a bit more time coming into the final lap.
Yeah, half a second gap as they enter the chicane. Oh, very nice line through there. Raja Amirul Shaukat immediately closing the gap. That does go a little bit wide on the exit. A couple of tires almost on the grass there. Might lose a bit of time there. But look, he's right on the bumper. He goes a bit wide. I think he went too fast on the exit there. Doesn't look like he lost that much speed though.
Yeah, but because he's in the draft right now, and this is his golden opportunity because there's no other place to overtake here at the Nurburgring apart from the NGK chicane and turn number 1. We're at turn number 1 now. Will he look onto the inside?
Oh, he breaks a bit too early, I think.
But conversely, Savi breaks very late. In fact, he opens up the door on the outside to Raja Amirul. They go side by side here. This is a battle for the win in copper, and it is getting into a barnstorming finish here. Raja Amirul Shaukat just about loses out there. Oh, slight touch! That's a touch there, and Savi manages to hold on to that one. That was very close to coming a cropper.
Yeah, he manages to keep it under control a little bit. Shaukat actually backed off because he knows he made a slight mistake there with that nudge. Does seem like he will have to experience another battle to try and get as close as possible to Savi Rathnayake. Savi is under considerable amounts of pressure though. You can see he's already making mistakes on his exits.
Yeah, that's not the sort of exits you want, especially if you're in the lead. You do not want to make a mistake coming on the exit here as we are now onto the final lap. There's Raja going onto the inside. He put a bit of a dink, but no way through.
No way through just yet, but just again right onto the bumper. When they come out to the back straight, he's going to be right in that toe and he'll be able to make a move there. It's a test of courage at this point to see who dares to brake later than him. Coming in there. Ooh, really still in that toe right now. He does seem to be able to make a move. I think this is the Michael Schumacher S-curves. Oh, tries to go bit on the inside. Too much tire on the curb. He loses control of the car a little bit.
Yeah, side by side they go. They nearly came a cropper again, but looks as though that might be it for Raja Amirul's chances of making it 3 wins in a row, unless of course something happens to Savi Rathnayake coming into the final corner, and Tehan Iranga likewise will be hoping that both of them will make a mistake for him to get up to P1 coming into the final lap. We're through the chicane now. That's his last chance. And there it goes. So Rathnayake only needs to negotiate the final corner to take his first ever win in the ERGP Global Edition.
Yeah, Raja Amirul Shaukat will be kicking himself in the head there. That's the end of his perfect run. Won't be able to get the maximum amount of points there. Will still get the fastest lap bonus there. As Savi Rathnayake, blistering speed, crosses the finish line in first place. The first real challenger to Raja Amirul Shaukat.
And what a battle between these three. Look at that. Total amount of respect from all three of them. They decided to go together across the line and just pose for the photos afterwards. So that's the streak ended, and that is a great way to actually win for Savi Rathnayake.
I mean, it lasted 1 round. Probably lasted a week. It's pretty good. Most drivers don't make it that far, and of course Savi Rathnayake, we didn't actually see him last week. Was he a new recent joiner?
Let's just see. Savi Rathnayake. No, this is actually his first round today.
Yeah. And immediately a big threat to Raja Amirul Shaukat. We have ourselves a proper series here.
Yep, but mind you, Savi has to make all his points count now because he only just joined this one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a drop round to fall back on.
Yeah, so his prayer, his hope is that Raja Amirul Shaukat completely bungles one of the race ones for the next couple of weeks, which I don't think will happen.
See first, again, it's all a matter of how they can keep it consistent because for Raja Amirul Shaukat, he's already keeping us consistency. That's 2 straight races. Well, 2 straight rounds, 3 races in a row that he's on the podium. So he's doing his championship chances a whole world of good.
Yeah, definitely very good performance from him so far. But of course, we have to remember race 2 is reverse grid. So he'll be starting in P9 while Savi will be starting in P10. So again, we gotta have to see these drivers who will be able to make their way, navigate their way through traffic, and deliver us another amazing battle for the front of the pack.
Guess it's a bit of vindication that we chose Nurburgring for the second round, not only because we have extended pit lanes, but it just kept everybody in play. It really was a good circuit for racing. despite the fact that some areas can be quite narrow, as we saw during that first race where not many people could get by.
Yeah, and the great part is all of these drivers actually navigated it very well. If you consider the fact that we didn't have any major incidents, well, apart from the time where one of the cars started flying, aside from that, we didn't really have any major probably one or two that ended up with some drivers getting the short end of the stick. But all in all, relatively clean round 2 so far.
Yep. Let's knock on plenty of wood that it continues for race number 2. There's the knock on wood right there. There's not somebody knocking on the door. But yeah, what's your prediction for race number 2? Will Savi and Rajamiro come up to the front, or will there be a third player coming into play here for the season?
I mean, we already saw Tehane Ranga. He was almost there. He almost tried to make a 3-way battle for P1 work, and he'll be starting in P8 this time. So it will be a battle, but of course, it's always about turn 1, innit?
Well, we saw just now at race number 1, turn number 1 was actually quite a clean affair. So let's hope that it will continue the second time, because the guys at the back, well, mid-pack from 10th will be starting up in front. They're not slow compared to the guys up in front, but they're slightly off the pace compared to them. So it might be an interesting case, but the guys further back might be feeling more of the cosh, because that's where most of the accidents will come. But luckily in this particular case, race number 1 didn't happen to be that way.
Yeah, and you normally expect, because I think Copper Class will probably have the biggest variance in skill between drivers, because Copper Class is the entry-level racing. Doesn't matter if you're good, doesn't matter if you're bad. You can enter the Copper Class and you definitely see there's a discrepancy between the fastest drivers and the slowest drivers. Right now, we're still in a very good spot where all the drivers seem to be very evenly matched. As we come on over to race 2. Reverse grid, of course. You can see Rahul Dev ended up in P10.
Yep. P10, but on pole for this particular race. And I hope he's not facing the wheel in that direction when he starts the race. Otherwise, he'll let everybody through.
Yep.
But that's not the sort of thing that he would have expected, given the fact that he had a decent first race. But he'll be quite chuffed to be on pole for this one.
Yeah, but if you take a look right now, SRL drivers make up first, second, and third right now.
Well, actually, first Rahul Dev is a Malaysian.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Then second and third is still taken over by SRL. Rahul Dev, of course, will be trying to make sure that he has a better run this time around. We got 40 seconds until the race starts. Xavier Koo, another driver that we didn't really pay much attention to in race 1 because he had a relatively uneventful run. Aside from that early doors battle with Shavinesh Mon there, who is starting in P6 right now. He ended up P4. P5 last race. So not a great start for him.
Yep. Again, it's consistency. It's there. He's getting points, but not the same as the other 2 drivers up in front of him in the championship getting there. Now, we're going to get out of the way for race number 2 here, as Rahul Dev manages to straighten out his wheel before the start of the race. 5 lights on the gantry, 6 in the game. We'll be underway for race number 2 here in bronze, and we're off. And it looks as though Rahul Dev actually managed to get a good launch off the line. He's actually gotten away from Govindu Samarakun, but Samarakun gets a better second phase of the start as we come out to turn number 1 now. Who's it going to be taking the whole shot here? It looks as though Rahul is on the outside, not having the best of runs here. He'll have to cut across. Coming to turn number 1, and it's Samarakun who actually goes into the inside. Takes the lead for a while, but will it be the lead coming into turn number 2? Not yet. It will be Rahul Dev who takes the lead. Samarakun switches back onto the inside. That is actually an opportunity, but no. Can he take it? Barges his way through.
Yeah, both cars ended up with 2 wheels for that moment there. Might have been quite an amazing first run. Unfortunately, the losers right now, Raja Amir Shalka in 8th place, only jumped out 2 positions. Tehane Ranga jumped up 3 positions. He's now in 5th place. Sami Rafnayaka is behind Amir Shalka in P9 right now. So, question is whether or not they can navigate through the traffic. Question is whether or not Samara Kun, Rahul Dev, and Nirosh Yeshan can clear the pack. Actually, Xavier Cruz right behind them as well. This might be a 4-way battle for P1.
Well, make it 3-way right now because Xavier is pretty much in no man's land, almost a second behind.
Yep.
But it's only lap 1. We're still waiting for everyone to just cycle itself out coming into the second lap of this race.
Yeah, Nirosh Yeshan there almost put 2 tires on the gravel. I wouldn't have known whether or not that was the fastest way out of that corner. Well, I saw him flashing his lights there. He definitely wants to find a way through. This is going to be a pretty tough battle for the top spot right now. We're going to have to stick around for this one before we go back to the other drivers, of course. Savi Rafnayaka and Raja Amir Shavkat right now still in a position where they can't really make a move upon many of the drivers, even though the gap between them is not that wide right now. They won't be able to make a move because this part of the track is pretty narrow.
And look at that. The protagonists from the first race are together still, 8th and 9th. Behind them is Jason Noon, so this is actually friends with Raul Dev, who's actually leading the race right now, but they're not running for the same team, so he'll be rooting for him in spirit from behind as Raja Amir Shavkat dives onto the inside. That's not normally where you overtake, and makes it stick somehow.
Oh, there's an accident in the back!
And that's a big one there. That looks like Ratayake, and there you go. It's all kicked off.
Yeah, and it wasn't even... I don't think... Okay, Raja Amir Shavkat didn't really have anything to do with it, but he did make quite a considerable dive bomb, which might have pressured some of the other drivers into making a mistake there. 4 drivers ended up spinning out in that particular instance. You can see that Sabi Rafnayaka down to P9, P12. Oh, sorry, even further back than that, I think.
Yeah, we're waiting for the standing to cycle itself out as Jason Oon takes a position away from Ryan Musin. We're going to go back to Raja Amir Shavkat. He's P7, so he managed to clear away. Xavier Ku's going to have a bit of a ding-dong battle here. He's right at the back of Nirosh Yeshin.
And I think just like that, Sabi Rafnayaka has a very tall ask of him. He's got about 11 minutes and 45 seconds left to try and get back to a top 10 position, which is the best way he's going to save his points right now. Xavier Ku actually breaking quite a bit early there, letting Shamir through, but also giving opportunities for Tehane Rangga to catch up to both of them.
And there's Nirosh going very wide coming out of turn number 7.
Seems he does have a penalty on him,
Yeah.
Nirosh.
Turn number 6. Yeah, no, it's not. Actually, that's his lag. It's in red.
Yeah.
So it wasn't penalty. Not yet, as we know of at least.
We're about to see, we might have an incident call on for that earlier part of the race after the chicane. But let's not focus on that right now. We're focusing on this part of the race, battle for P4, I think, with Shavinesh Monet holding the front of the pack, but only just.
Yeah, we're going to give some love to the guys for them behind. You can see a lockup there. Someone actually went off during the first lap, so they didn't have the best of times. Abid Asri chasing after Muhammad Reyes. Reyes didn't really have a good first race either. We saw him up in the top 10, but he slipped away in the final phase.
Yeah, and very well played to some of these drivers. Of course, they're not really on the pace. We go back to Sabi Rafnayaka in P17 right now, still making his way up the grid. Was in P9. Oh.
Okay, so that's the reason why he dropped.
Oh no. I was hyping him up and then we pan to the camera and he's the wrong way around. That's very, very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he went from hero in the first race to absolute zero for this one. Not the best of returns, but at least he got a win under his belt and a full complement of points.
Yeah, that's a good amount of points for him to start off. Who's that just gone off? There were 2 cars that just went off there.
Now I'm trying to pick out who's that. That's Reyes! Oh! Picked him out just in time before he whacked into the barriers, but that's his race well and truly dusted. The other one might have been Abid Asri. In fact, it is Abid Asri.
Yeah.
Who, he looks a bit slow there for a second. Might have been because he was together with Reyes, but now he's in front of him. So that might have been high reason why he's spun out.
Yeah, as Steve used to say, a very quick romantic encounter with Barrier there, coming from Reyes. Ryan Musin in P8 right now. Pretty good position for him considering last race didn't do quite as hot as he would like.
Oh, that's Nirosh going
oh my
wide.
god, he went so wide there.
He was almost halfway to the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, of course. Nurburgring and Spa are only about 100 kilometers away from each other. Nirosh nearly wanted to find the easy way out, but luckily for him, he kept it together. He's still in front of Fakr Faris, but losing a bit of time to Ryan Musin.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, he was one of the drivers that went off, I think, early on because he was in P3 and now he's stuck there. A bit of desynchronization happening here. Could be some lag issues from his end, which probably caused him to end up in a very unfortunate position. P9 has to travel and make his way all the way back to the top right now.
And we're going to focus on other drivers further behind as well. There's Genevieve Oy. She is one of the newcomers. She had a very good first round up to the P10 at one point. Now she's fighting hard with Tehane Rangga. So that's a front runner she's battling with. But she has to concede position.
Oh no, she tried to go back on the inside, but there was already a car there.
And that's Rafi Rahadian. So Rahadian actually went through. And look at that, that's Savi, our good friend who was the winner in race number 1. Goes through onto the inside. Let's hope but the move is clean. Yes, it is. And Genevieve gave so much space there to Tehan, which also in turn gives space for the other drivers behind to actually attack. There's Judiel Gonzalez onto the outside.
Oh, a bit of shoving there, I think, goes on a little bit against the inside curve, but then she's ended up forcing one of the other drivers out. There's Judiel there, having a challenge Genevieve Oy for that P17 position.
This is just for pride, you know, because there's no points for these positions in race
Yeah.
number 2, but they're still giving it all, and that's why the case of Nicholas Latifi crashing in Abu Dhabi 2021 is unwarranted to be hating towards him for that one.
Yeah, we're at there is a bit of things to be commenting about, especially in terms of spatial awareness, of course. These cars are small, but they're not that small that you can just ignore the air around you, especially here on this part. Xavier Koo having to give space to Raja Amirul Shaukat, who actually managed to climb all the way to P3 in the last couple of laps. What happened there?
Yeah, speaking of what happened there, look at who's in P5. That's actually Jason Un, another debutant here for this Copper Class, and he's doing very well, in fact, to get up to the top 5 in only his second ever race. Well, first race, of course, in his entirety, first round, but you get the idea.
Yep. Okay, so let's take stock of our current position. Raja Amirul Shaukat on track to be basically the biggest winner of this round, despite the fact that he did concede P1 over to Savi Ratnayaka there. But now we're turning our attentions to first and second. Rahul Dev behind Govindu Samarakunya. They were battling it out just when we were talking there, but it seems like Rahul Dev is just waiting for a moment to pounce. They've got about 3 laps left in them.
Oh, what a dive!
Shine.
What a dive! That is actually good. It's a late dive bomb, but it's a clean one. Yes, there was a bit of contact, but because Samarakun actually gave room to Rahul on the inside, and Rahul took it.
Yeah, he definitely saw the fact that he was going for the dive, ended up having to give him space to avoid incident. But now he's trying to get back position back. He didn't get the clearest exit through that corner, but he was faster out of it. So now, Samarakun going in for another dive. The switcheroo comes around, turn the tables onto Rahul Dev there, and it's just a battle of jostling positions between these two drivers.
Yeah, but all the while they're fighting even more. They're gonna bring Raja Amirul Shaukat, Jason Un, his good friend, in play, and Xavier Koo. So it's gonna be a battle between a few different nationalities up in the top 5, and it's still far from over as we're coming to the final 6 minutes.
Yeah, definitely too close to call for these two drivers. And Rahul Dev behind about half a second behind Samarakun. Raja Amirul Shaukat another half a second just behind those two drivers right now. About 2 laps remaining for these 3 laps remaining, sorry, I should say. Not 2. Yeah, 2 laps. Okay. Turn 1, they're coming out to turn 1 again. Start finish straight, they're coming out to turn 1 again. Is there going to be a move?
Let's see then. On board with Rahul. Let's see if he can try to dive one on the inside. Govindu Samarakun actually goes to the middle of the track. He knows full well who's behind here.
Yep.
It is a stream of cars. 4 of them, in fact, if you include Xavier Koo, ready to duke it out. Coming up here to turn number 2. Rahul Dev on the outside, Samarakun on the inside. Oh, big slide. Did he catch it? Yes, he does.
Yeah, and very clever driving for Samarakun that he just hold himself in the middle of the track. It's not wide enough for you to make a move on both the inside and outside. So actually, fair play to him. He actually managed to defend his position very well.
And on board Raja Amirul Shaukat. There we go. He actually got a good run coming out of turn number 4 there. Goes to the outside. Attacks his fellow countryman here. Rahul knows full well he's there too. And Jason Un is coming in as well. So these are guys who, 2 of them know each other. That is not what you want to do. You do not want to whack somebody out of the race.
Yeah, he definitely was trying to go for the dive. Realized that he didn't have enough of a gap close between him and Raja Amirul Shaukat to make that happen without causing an incident for both of them. But now, it's a 4-way battle. Govindu Samarakun is under a considerable amount of pressure. So is Rahul Dev right now from one of the top drivers in the Copper League.
Yeah, and he's the guy in form. Yes, he lost his win streak here, but no doubt he's still a lethal weapon coming up to the front of the grid here. So, don't know how to call it. This is going to be very close. We're going to follow Xavier Koo as how he sees the battle up in front. There goes Rahul Dev. Rahul goes very wide.
And you just have to see, you just have to imagine the amount of pressure that goes on with these drivers. They don't really have that much experience in having extended battles, and their mental fortitude is going to be of paramount importance. Raja Amirul Shaukat makes a move on the outside as he comes out to the NGK chicana. has the inside track for the chicane, but will he be able to go for a dive? Breaks a bit later, goes for the move. Rahul Dev has to give him space as he cuts across onto the inside for the next part of the chicane. And what a pass from Raja Miroshaukat.
That's the second pass he made.
Oh!
Jason gets spun around by Xavier. That breaks up the battle somewhat, but hopefully Jason was not going to get taken out by the rest of the field there, because the rest of the snake was actually very close. But second move of the day over there for Raja Miroshaukat. He really loves to overtake that.
Oh yeah, he made definitely. I think that's one of his best corners actually, because he just knows how much speed he can carry and how late he can brake to make sure he stays within the lines.
Yeah, but in turn, he actually compromises other people behind him, and that's why the top five, in fact, Constantina a bit, and that caused Jason Oon to be spun up because Xavier was actually getting way too close, looked on the inside coming to turn 15, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, racing, especially when you're that close, is a combination of multiple factors as well. It's your mental fortitude, it's your concentration, it's your ability to analyze multiple situations at once and figure out the best solution to cover all of them. That's a lot of things you have to think about when you're racing.
And of course, keep in mind, you're also racing with very close quarters company. This is no different. Xavier Koo, Doni Sadewa, and Sharvinesh Mohanir, a Singaporean, and an Indonesian, and a Malaysian together. That's pretty much the type of company you'll see pretty often.
Oh,
big hit!
Shot. Oh, another big shot coming out for most of the drivers. I think what happened there is Xavier Koo braked a bit too early. Sharvinesh wasn't expecting it, ended up pushing him, and that in turn caused Xavier to accidentally swerve into Doni Sadewa. Surprisingly, no one was screwed from that.
Yeah, absolutely. You think that game of car conkers may have actually got somebody being conked out, but amazingly, that actually pretty much didn't change anything. Xavier somehow still in front of both of them. Oh no! Spoke too soon. Oh, I spoke too soon. There's Xavier being taken out completely.
Yeah, and that brings up another thing I have to notice. Sharvinesh likes to brake a little bit later than his competition. Xavier, it turns out, brakes a little bit earlier than everyone else, and they're not compatible with how close they are to one another. One brakes early, one reacts a bit late, and all of a sudden you end up with a pileup.
Indeed. Well, not a big pileup per se, but someone comes a cropper and sent into the Shadow Realm as Gavidu Samarakun gets a bit of a slow ride onto the final corner, and to start the final lap here, lap number 6
He's
into
in
7. He's in the draft. Really close right now. Samarakun knows he's there. Where's he gonna go? Rahul Dev looking behind.
His lights.
He's flashing his lights, letting you know he's there. He dives onto the inside, and Samarakun brakes very late, which in turn he's been pressured completely, and he has to
just
concede.
lost it. Raja Miroshaukat with some amazing driving there, managing to pressure Gavindu Samarakun into giving it a position. Goes a bit wide there, of course, but he wants to get the best run out into T2, T3 here.
Oh, the Sri Lankan makes yet another mistake there. Just outbrakes himself. Probably he didn't feel too appreciative of the fact that he got pressured to a mistake. Now he's doing the same thing. You can see he was flashing too.
Yeah, again, the mental game is very strong. It's very important for these drivers as well. How unflappable you are in the face of sheer pressure is a testament to how good you'll be able to keep yourself in a good position throughout this entire race.
And of course, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. In this case, Raja Miroshaukat really got going when he saw the wind was up in the air and he grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah, Raja Miroshaukat, amazing driving throughout this entire 15-minute session there. We'll be very happy he got himself another win for this race, despite the fact that he didn't get what he wanted on race 1, but damn did he drive his way all the way up to in race 2.
And shout out to some of the other drivers who were up in that top 5 that got knocked out earlier. Jason Un, who was spun around by Xavier Koo. I guess redemption came early because Xavier Koo has been actually spun out of contention as well. He's up to P6 and possibly could try to overtake Jason Sadewa, but might be a bridge too far. And likewise for Sharvinesh, he was lucky to actually not be taken out altogether. He survived 2 separate attacks.
Yeah, I think he was actually one of the culminating factors that ended up with Xavier Koo in the gravel earlier on. So we're gonna have to come back to that now as Raja Miroshaukat coming up to the final corner here into the start-finish straight. What a drive from him, starting all the way from P10, which coincidentally is where his closest competitor, Samiraf Nayaka, is still on.
Yep, comes across the line, goes Rajamani Shakat, 3 wins out of 4, and that is him well and truly in the championship fight, or rather, he's taking the championship with both hands right now, in terms of how he's been dominating since the beginning. Across the line goes Amarakun behind him in second. Raul Dev, his first podium, and is in his very first race too, so what a way to do so, in front of Shavinash Mohaner, Doni Sadewa, Jason Noon recovering from that slight spin, and the rest of the field come by as well as the standings cannot sort itself out because it's changing as drivers are leaving the server.
Wow. That was probably one of the best Copper League races I've seen in a long time, actually. Considering the fact that all the driving was relatively close, the incidents were pretty isolated. I want to say isolated. I mean, there were still some pretty big incidents in the end there. But, yeah, excellent racing from all the drivers.
Indeed. And, well, if that was enough to whet the appetite, that was just the appetizer. We're going to the main courses after this. First up will be the bronze class, but before that, we'll be back after a short break.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Hello, we're back. eRacing Global Edition Season 13. And if you've only just recently joined us, we'll be starting the Bronze League in just a few minutes. Of course, we can check out the standings here. We are on the Nurburgring GT circuit, which is a very, I want to say condensed version of the GP circuit, normal GP circuit. But of course, it is still a very technical course.
Yep, as we look at the driver standings here, Kanzani Ramdani continues where he left off in the bronze cars last season when he was champion. He leads the way in front of Amir Rafiq and Chester Lam. Of course, we're still going to have an asterisk on this championship standings because we might look into it for future rounds after this, whether or not we're going to have to rerun a certain race. But irregardless, this is what the championship looks like for the time being. Other drivers that have surprised so far, Adam Daniel, a newcomer after being promoted from the Copper class. He's in P7 in front of his fellow countryman Iman Ryan, with Cameron James struggling early doors.
Yeah, and we're going to go into the race practice session now. Ooh, yeah. As we say that, Iman Ryan just clipped the barrier coming out of the NGK chicane there. Yeah, that's what happens when you clip the barrier. It's not going to be pretty for anyone that's involved.
Yep, and look, we actually have the cars not fully colored for once. So it's nice to see that we have all the teams' liveries being represented. This is Galani Haki in the M92 Motorsport cars.
Ooh, damn, these cars do look very, very good right now. Now they're not just full colored. Okay, practice is about to wrap up. We're going to go straight into qualifying in just a few minutes. Again, some drivers to look out for, of course. Kamzani Ramdani doesn't seem to see. Yeah, there he is. He's in the pits right now, getting ready for his fast lap. Later on, another few drivers there. Lavinesh Monet, you can see him here. I don't think he's in the race this week. Unfortunately.
He should be. But we'll wait first. The drivers we have right now, this is Jason Tong. I'm not sure why he's listed as being in a Ferrari, even though he was actually racing with a Mercedes at the start of the season. But it is what it is.
Yeah, are the drivers allowed to change cars in between races?
Yeah, we do actually. We have more lenient rules at this point in time compared to where we were in other platforms like
I think it probably makes sense because I think the Ferrari does seem to be a little bit more manageable and faster in the corners than the Mercedes.
But the thing is, we used to have penalty points where if you were to change cars, you minus 2 points from your standings.
Yeah.
So drivers may have felt that it was a bit too much of a risk to change, but I think for certain quarters, it might have been worth it.
Especially considering Jason Tong didn't really have the best race 2 earlier on. Of course, coming into round 2 right now. Round 1 didn't really go so well for him. Ended up involved in a couple incidents that dropped his positions to sort of non-competitive position at this point in time. But we'll have to see if he'll be able to turn his fortunes around in this race with a new car.
Yep, and this is what it looks like for us coming into the qualifying session proper. Jaden Chia then fulfilling his early season promise by being fastest in practice, of course. But again, that's not going to be the actual case coming to the qualifying or races, but it's all depending on him, how he can actually perform well there. That looks like Fazul Alim, Sri Lankan in second place, 2/10 behind, and Iman Ryan in third. So that's your top 3, with the field separated all the way to top 8 by about a second.
So we have a Bruneian, a Singaporean, and a Sri Lankan on the top 3 podium right now. In the front pack right now. Of course, we're gonna have to go into qualifying. Right now, getting into the outlap, and now that we can see everyone's liveries, we'll be able to tell these drivers apart better.
Yep, some drivers going for the default liveries like we see for Naval Satyawan, while others behind them, we saw Iman Ryan. He's actually running with the Rothmans colored. Oh, you might be able to prove that sponsor. BMW.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we're gonna have to talk about the cars yet again because, of course, these bronze class drivers will be driving GT3 cars. These cars are substantially faster than the MX5 Cup cars we saw earlier in the Copper League. About 4 times more power, a lot more aero. So we're about to see some pretty fast laps here, I would say.
Yeah. Anybody in particular you feel like you want to focus on? I think we have to focus on Kanzani Ramdani, of course.
Of course, we definitely have to. He's right now running in clean air. That means he might have a good run up for his flying lap. Of course, on qualifying pace, Kamzani Ramdani was pretty good in qualifying as well. Ended up in He didn't end up in pole position. He didn't get the fastest lap, did he?
Yeah, but he's still one of those guys to watch out for, especially given the fact that he's a consistent performer, we can safely say.
Yeah, definitely.
So we saw last time out. Yeah, I say consistent performer. He had a terrible second race in Barcelona, but he had a win with the fastest lap and second place in qualifying last time out. Only second to Iman Ryan. So Iman Ryan and him are the two guys to watch out for in qualifying.
Yeah, and of course the BMW Z4 GT3, one of the very fastest cars in GT3 class right now. Very easy to control for some of these drivers as well. You can see top 4 there. Okay, here comes Kamzari Ramdani. He's in the start-finish straight. We're about to see his flying lap now.
Yep.
Has a pretty good run up there. We're on board with him as we cover his quick qualifying lap. Fast straight, these cars will probably do around 240, 250k as they're coming into turn 1 right now. Very tight curve he has to come in. You have to be very careful which line you take because you want to end up on the inside for turn 2 as they're coming over the Mercedes Arena corner now. Turn 2, very nice and neat. Want to put a couple of tires on the AstroTurf on the outside. Yeah, very nicely there. Into turn 3. Again, bit slow on there, but you do definitely have to pick the best line possible for turn 4 right now as they're coming on. Get a little bit of a slide there. Kanzani Ramdani. Some of these drivers definitely still getting used to these corners. Coming up now to turn 5 and into turn 6. Another very neat corner coming in. Have to keep this car under control, staying in the middle of the corner, trying to get as many wheels on the curb as possible. Coming up now, big hairpin here is T7, which leads into one of the more dangerous corners here in the Nurburgring GT circuit. Clean there to turn 7 onto the Michael Schumacher S curve. That's why you have to be very careful. You don't want to accidentally tip the curves because the curves on this particular section are very uneven on the inside. But Kanzani Ramdani makes it look easy. Coming out of T9 there, entering turn 10, 90-degree left-hander. Just slightly missing the apex there, but does seem to keep it under control. Again, coming in. The Warsteiner curve. A little bit of a slide there. A couple of wheels on the grass, but still a very fast lap coming into the back straight. Advan Bogan, turn 12 here. Coming up to the very big chicane near the very end of the lap. Let's see his lines here. Braking at the 75 mark. Very nice. Clipping the curbs just nicely there. Into the final corner, into the start-finish straight. We're about to see whether or not he'll be able to set a blistering speed.
Out of final corner he goes. Let's see if he could improve on that banker lap time.
156.
Yep, you bet he does. It's a 56.7. So he's 1.4 seconds faster than Cameron James. James behind him couldn't match the speed. And there's Iman Ryan coming through our shot. Let's hope he doesn't bother any of these guys. Yep. Managed to stop in time, and Cameron James is well on his way.
Yeah, so far the only other driver end up in a 156 just barely is Chester Lam here. Another very fast driver. Didn't have the best performance in race 1 last round. Didn't have it much better in race 2, of course. Here we go, Afiq Farid.
Yep. Oh, Afiq actually has another Afiq right in front of him. That's Amirul Afiq.
Yep.
No relation, by the way. Just happened to be one of the most common names in Malaysia.
Yep.
And he has traffic, so that is his lap well and truly scuffed.
Yeah, you can see that just in front of them. Jaden Xia actually blisteringly quick on his flying lap. Ends up with almost 156 dead on the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car. Very fast driver.
Oh, another cup car. This is the full GT3R. Oh, he goes very wide coming out of turn number 2 there. Luckily kept it together for the AstroTurf, but a stonking lap, 7 tenths faster than Kanzani Ramdani.
Yeah, Kanzani Ramdani would be happy with that. He's right now on pace to set another blistering lap. Hopefully, he's in clean air right now, so he shouldn't be making any major mistakes that will cost him the lap. Very nice line through the S-curves there, coming out on the outside. This is the very fast part of the track, of course. Still 7 tenths behind right now. Will he be on pace? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, this is the... If he can make it to the start-finish straight in time. Nah, I don't think he can. This will be his final lap, it looks like.
Actually, he can.
He can, yeah.
He might be able to, but whether or not he can actually make that lap count, it's depending on him.
Yep.
Out of the final corner then, onto the start-finish line. Would it be an improvement to challenge Jaden Chia? No, it isn't.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, he's still. But he does have one more lap to do. But I think he's calling it quits there.
Yep, he has. And several of the drivers behind might be calling it too. There's Afiq Farid actually coming around the final corner. Chester Lam across the line. And no improvement there. Afiq Farid, Amir Afiq, and Chester Lam cannot be able to challenge that. But they're up there in the top 7. So that's a very close lap. But in fact, Faisal Alim comes through 56.4. So that's he upset the upper cut completely.
Yeah, Kazani Ramdani again would be happy with that. He tried to do a very fast lap on his final run out, but here comes Jaden Shah. Is this his last lap? Will he be able to improve? He does! Another half a second coming out of Jaden Shah right there. Even that incident that he did at turn 2 could have made it faster actually.
Yeah, it was he literally just used all the extremities of the circuit and then some to actually get the fastest lap by about 9/10 of a second in front of Faisal Alim. Now that is laying the gauntlet.
Oh, definitely tall ask here. The question is whether or not race pace can match qualifying. Jaden Shah got to be enjoying the points he's getting from the fastest lap here in round 2. He's going to be pretty happy with that.
Absolutely. And to think he will just only be doing this in qualifying. Can you imagine if he manages to put all the pace together in the race? He'll be just sprinting away at the front.
Yeah, he'll definitely just clear the pack and be able to keep everyone at bay. Won't be able to battle anyone as well. Ended up with a situation pretty much like Amiro Shaukat did in the very last round. Of course, he did have to be more competitive this time around. Still ended up with a win in race 2, won 3 out of the last 4 races in Copper class. But enough of that. We're in Bronze class right now. Raja Amiro Shaukat is also racing in the Bronze class. Not as successful here as he was in Copper class, but that definitely just means the level of competition is just that much higher.
Yeah, indeed. And it is much more competitive, of course, because we got plenty of guys who are seasoned campaigners in the Bronze class, as well as some newcomers who are actually quite good as well compared to some of the other rookies that we had before. The likes of Jaden Shah and Adam Daniel, who's up in the top 10 as well. They're 2 fast guys. Cameron James, likewise. He's been there or thereabouts, but didn't have the best of qualifying, so he's only able to qualify in P12 for this one. And of course, Kazane Ramdani, defending champion in the class, stays in bronze for this one. He really wouldn't want to give up his crown that easily.
Okay. Seems to be a pretty standard position for a lot of these drivers from trends that we've seen in the past couple of races. I say past couple of, there's only the 1 round previously. But again, a lot of drivers are pretty much in the same position, with the big exception of Iman Rayyan, who is in P23. Didn't really have the best qualifying pace now, so he has a very tall ask to make it to the front of the pack.
Yeah, looking at those yellow miracles that he's wearing right now. He'll definitely have to mop his act for this second round. First race, of course, here around the Nurburgring. And that's what he's looking at. Not just the front of the field, but an entire corner. That's how far he is behind in this particular case. Other drivers we have to watch out for. Say hello to Afiq Farid, a driver who has been driving a lot of ACC. Semi-retired, as he's told me a few times, but he'll definitely like to put that retirement tag out of the way. But before we go into the race, a shout out to our sponsors, MAM, of course, who helped sanction the event and, of course, give credence to our championships. Life Apparel, who make the shirts. Ross Lango, who give the trophies at the end of the season, especially given the fact that a lot of drivers have been incessantly asking us when the trophies are going to come, but don't worry, they'll be coming very soon. X-Park, who also provide us the facilities to do the commentary from, and of course provide some of the winners with a voucher to use that to travel for the weekend over in Johor. Last but not least, Axel, of course, we're the organizers for this one. Now, we're ready to get underway. Yep, ready to get underway here. Lights on the gantry, come on. Normally it's 5 lights, but in the Santa Costa's case, it's 6 lights. And when they go out, we'll be underway for race number 1 here for round 2 of the bronze class. And it's go! It is a good start there for Jaden Shah. He actually got the best launch on the line. You can hear there was minimal wheel spin. He really nailed that launch, and he gets the whole shot coming to turn 1. Fazal Alim gets the second phase of the start quite nicely. In fact, he gets the whole shot himself.
Oh, Jaden Chow was forced out of the corner there and ended up having to, I think he braked just a little bit too late coming into T1 there. Ends up conceding 2 positions to Gelani Haki as well as Falzo Alim. Ooh, takes it back for Gelani Haki though. I think there was a little bit of contact coming there. Gelani Haki had to slow down a considerable amount and now he's letting some of the cars through. There's a big crash!
Oh, is that Ramdani getting off? No. In fact, that's another BMW. I can see that's Chester Lum. Chester Lum is actually involved in all of that. We can't even pick him up right now because that's how much he's chopping and changing now. But it looks as though that is one of the main challenges up in front, out of the way.
Yeah, and just like that, we saw just at the tail end of that incident, another driver had a close encounter with Barry on there. Woo! Already more intense than the Copper League right now. Big incident happening in turn 3, which is a lot earlier than what I would have anticipated.
Yeah, and it's all caused because of the fact that we saw Jaden taking evasive action, trying to overtake Galani Haki. Haki fought back, and then onto the inside goes one of the other Porsches. That caused that to the right.
Oh! Fires goes off that, turns right to go left. Or is it the other way around? Turns left to go right, unfortunately for him. Ooh, just lost control of that Mercedes AMG GT3 car. Those cars are very leery. Chris Chu, another one going off there. What is going on?
And this is not us even saying it. We were just focusing on certain drivers and they had accidents.
You wouldn't say the Costa curse is happening visually now, right? Instead of just like us saying it out. Oh, another incident that Chris Chu goes off again.
Oh, I can't even pick him up. There he is. Oh, the front of the car is well and truly wrecked now, Damon.
Oh my god, that's pretty much the end of his race there. 2 big incidents there. I think he got tagged by one of Venismo GTRs there. Driven by one of the only drivers.
Sherman Singh.
Yeah, Sherman Singh there. Might have accidentally tagged him. Jaden Chow trying to make a move on Falso Alim there. Guts the inside track, but will he be able to clear for turn 2? No, he doesn't. They're side by side to turn 2. Falso Alim almost shutting the doors on him. Jaden Chow had to slow down, otherwise he would have gone off track.
Yeah, Jaden, of course, used all the extremities of the circuit, especially in the Mercedes arena, to get that pole lap time by almost a second, and using it a bit more now, but he has to be careful. This is the race proper. If he's to get a penalty, he will lose more than just time. He will lose plenty of positions.
Yeah, Kazadi Rodani is, again, just like last round, didn't really do that well during the race, stayed consistently close to the podium finishers in order to bite his time and make a move. And whether or not there'll be a mistake happening from either Jaden or Falso Alim remains to be seen. But of course, this is a battle for P1. Anything can happen there. Falso Alim braked a little bit too late, had to go a bit wide there, but does have the better exit coming out of T7.
Yeah, that is actually an ideal exit, but not the best line coming into it. If someone were to take advantage of that...
Jaden!
Ooh, that's close. If someone were to take advantage of that, Jaden would have actually taken it with both hands.
Yeah, definitely. But because of that, immediately he kept it under control. Of course, the Michael Schumacher S-curves are a very deadly section of this course. You have to be aware of that. Jaden Chow coming out onto the back straight now. Another place to make a big move is here, the NG car chicana. Ooh, he's got a big gap. Will he be able to close it? He's not going to make the dive for sure, though.
No, he ain't. So, for the time being, that battle rescinds for now. We're going to have to give some screens up to the guys behind. We saw Chris Chu just now having his couple of big accidents.
He's not in great spot.
And John McGregor too, likewise. So, 2 veterans of ERGP Global Edition. In fact, both have even won championships. All right at back, so that's a real shame for them. We'll welcome Ralph Borja, a brand new driver for this particular class, driving the Ferrari, and that's a snazzy little color that he's going on there. Really cute little car.
I don't know what that reference is. I don't watch that much anime, but it's cute, definitely. Oh, Reynaldo Julie there.
It's just giving a bit of screen time to the guys behind here just to see how it's like. And that's the battle going on for them. I think Farid, likewise, was actually in a ding-dong battle with Nova Satyawan, and looks as though he has lost touch to Satyawan and Galani Haki. Alfiko Aska is out of the race, unfortunately, so that's 1 retirement already. Looking at a guy who has made a return to sim racing. Not that is the returns for Afiq Farid.
Yeah, and he was also one of the... Whoa!
Indonesians killing each other there. Nava Satyawan sending Audi Devanugraha straight to the gulag.
Yeah, that was a team kill there. Nava Satyawan, you can see his head was in his hands there when he was part of the accident. Was saying how Afiq Farid was one of the victims of that T3 incident on lap 1 that that driver goes off. Oh yeah, these GT3 cars are definitely a handful.
Yeah, even despite having the electronic aids to, you know, give assistance to those
Yeah.
new drivers, especially the gentleman guys.
Yeah, of course. Traction control doesn't save everybody.
Yeah, depends how well you use it. And for some people, it didn't use it very well. Now then, Jaden Chia, 0.7 of a second behind Fazul Alim. Fazul didn't make a qualifying last time around and didn't even make the start for both races. He's right in front for this one, so that's a quick turnaround for him.
Yeah, good start for him. Jaden Cha is still hard on his heels though. Ooh, bit late on the brakes there. Trying to get fast entry. Ended up having to store a considerable amount for the start-finish straight there. He's in the tow, however, so he might be able to catch up just before that. You can see the gap between them slowly narrowing. Ooh, he's coming on the outside. Will he try to make a dive for turn 1? Brakes about the same time as them. Keeps it clean right now. Fazul Alim not giving him enough space and doesn't have the best line through T2 Mercedes Arena there.
Yeah, he got stuck on this entry, but look at that. He's using a lot of the exit once again and then some on the runoff just to get behind Fazul Alim. But look at how much commitment is Jaden giving. He's really not caring about track limits. He wants to get in front of the Sri Lankan.
Yeah, and the track limits for that particular session is quite generous. You can have all 4 wheels on the AstroTurf and you'll probably be fine. In this case, however, probably not the best idea, but it does seem to give Jaden that little bit of extra speed. If he didn't clip his tires on the runoff just after the AstroTurf.
Yep, and that cost him a bit of grip.
Oh! Fazul Alim, and instead losing control of his car, understeers into that corner there.
And manages to get the exit well here to prevent Jaden from getting up the back of him. Another driver to highlight, Raja Amiro Shaukat. So, the front runner in the copper class decides to make it double duty for this season. He's up in P10, making his first start this season.
He did actually take part in the last race as well. Didn't do too well. Kind of the same story here in middling positions, but that's still pretty good racing for him. Driving the McLaren GT3 650S.
Second start, yeah. Second
yes.
start in bronze class.
Yeah.
But first time in the top 10.
Yep. Fazul Alim actually keeping the gap between him and Jaden pretty substantial. Half a second means a considerable amount when you drive cars this fast. Jaden Cha is really pushing his 911 GT3R right now to its absolute limits, just trying to find that moment in time where he can just pounce and make a move. However, the gap is far too substantial at this point in time.
Yeah, not for the time being at least. We're going to go back to battle here. Here's the ding-dong one, Raja Amiro Shaukat. Luqman Al-Hakim, who takes the position away from Raja Amiro Shaukat, and Navira Wanakuwata in the Sri Lankan in front of both of them.
Three-way battle right now. This is, of course, battle for P9. P9. Luqman Al-Hakim actually passed Raja Amiro Shaukat. Ooh, braking quite late there. I don't think. Just have barely there. Thank God for ABS, otherwise he definitely wouldn't have made that corner.
Yeah, but it goes to show his bravery. We thought that, well, he probably is not the type of driver to defend a position too hard or attack. But case in point here, how he actually conversely makes it a real attack up in front, and he takes back P10 and crucially pole for race 2.
Yep, definitely. He's trying to keep tabs on the battle between him and Luqman Al-Hakim. This is a Malaysian versus Indonesian battle right now for pole position in race 2. So this is still a very important race for them.
Yep. And here is another battle right further up in front. Amir Rafiq, who's aiming to challenge for the championship. He's up in P5 in front of Adam Daniel, running with the Hatsune Miku color right beside there. You can see Please No Monterino, so he's full of car memes.
Of course, shout outs to Jamie Broadbent. I wish he was watching right now, but of course he's definitely busy with some other stuff. Right now, the gap. Luqman Al-Hakim still trying to make a move on Amiro Shaukat through the Michael Schumacher-esque corners. Yeah, okay, so, pretty intense battles all around for the rest of the pack right now. We're going to be paying attention to this one in particular because it seems they will be switching positions quite often throughout this entire race. We've got about 3 laps remaining out of these cars, 5 minutes left in race 1 here. And again, if you look through the rest of the field, Gelandi Haki had a very bad start at lap 1, ended up in P13 right now. Now has to fight to hold on to his position with Afiq Farid here.
Yeah, Afi actually let Galandi by, so he might have actually cut the corner somewhere and had to let the Porsche through. So no wonder that he dropped the position easily there. Well, Afi, welcome back to Sim Racing. Let's hope you didn't really miss it too much.
Oh man, I mean, maybe some people like the rush of being in a position like this, especially we're back on Cameron James right now, fighting with Iman Rayan as well as Adam Daniel. This is for P6, of course, a very good position to be in for some of these drivers because Iman Rayan climbing up from P20 something. He was P25, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So to jump from that position into a points position, impressive driving from him here.
Yep. Probably is the sponsors. It really gives a lot of power. As he goes onto the inside of Cameron James, catches Cameron by surprise and takes P7 away from him. That is a very sweet move coming up to turn number 7 onto the Schumacher S's. That really was a case of biding your time, catching the guy in front napping, and just take the opportunity in both hands.
Whew. Pretty intense stuff so far. You love to see it. This is, of course, only the bronze class. We still have silver and gold coming up after this. So if you want some high octane racing, stick around because it's definitely going to be a banger. Adam Daniel here coming up to P5 against Amiro Afik. Mercedes versus Ferrari, a battle as old as time itself. Well, I say old as time itself. Didn't really start until the 430 came out, right?
Well, actually, until the SLS AMG came out, that's much later.
Yeah. That's 2009. It's been about 14 years since the 458 Italia came out.
And of course, the SLS AMG around 2011-ish. So, yeah, pretty good car as Adam Daniel, as we said it. Not such a good car that time around. Iman Rayan goes in front. That gives Amir Rafi the opportunity to make a beeline for it.
He's got space. He's got clean air. Will he be able to clear the traffic right now? Iman Rayan, man on a mission. Oh, Jaden gets forced off by Falzo Alim there. I wonder what happened there. Perhaps Falzo, as said, he lost control of his car, forced him off.
No, we caught it just in time actually because he was challenging for the lead around the outside.
Yeah.
That's his favorite spot to just abuse the track limits, get a good run. Faisal Alim just blocked the door on him and Jaden just had nowhere to go, but luckily he wasn't sent completely out of it.
Yeah, managed just to keep the car under control. But you have to be aware, of course, Kazani Radani will be able to make a move. Iman Rayan here trying to get past Amiro Afik. The gap was pretty wide just before we tuned out of him. But now that we're back in, it's a battle for P5. Iman Rayan looking for a chance to make a move happen. This is T7 coming out of there. Amazing exit for Iman Rayan out of there. Amiro Afik not quite as good. Coming into the Schumacher curves. Ooh, you're gonna have to be so careful with the curbs. As I just mentioned, Iman Rayan almost loses control of the car coming off the curbs on the right-hander of the chicane.
Looking at 3 different cars, Ferrari, BMW, Mercedes on our screens. It's the Mercedes we're looking at right now of Adam Daniel, watching, praying that he doesn't get involved in any of this craziness, and given the fact that that's his fellow countryman and teammate right in front of him. So Iman Rayan will know full well that his teammates right behind, he doesn't want to stuff it up as Ryan goes up to the back of Amir Rafi. No way through just yet. We're on to the final lap then.
Okay, one move, one shot, one opportunity. You gotta make it count, Iman Rayan. You're already in an excellent position considering the fact, considering where you started from. Now is the time to make your shots count. Here we go, start finish straight. He's in the toe. As we go back to Raja Amir Shaukat. Ooh, going a bit wide. I think he just spun.
No, I think he saved it. Oh, look at it inside. Iman Rayan tries to dive one on Amir Rafi. Amir Rafi goes very narrow and holds it.
Woo! Man, I need a drink. I need a drink of water. This is a bit extreme there.
And you are right. Damon, you did catch the end of that, the beginning of that, my apologies, of Rajamir Shaka losing it. So he's in P15, 1 point, but not on pole for race number 2 of... Forget the battle for the lead. That has been rescinded. We're looking at a really close battle here between some of the other guys in this top 10, including the likes of Cameron James, who is trying to get up to P7, and Iman Rayan trying to get up to P5.
Yeah, this is the very final lap. Of course, Iman Rayan still trying to look for an opportunity to pass Amirul Afik here. This might be the place, T7 right now. Ooh, braking a bit late, has to go a bit wide there, giving space now for Adam Daniel and Cameron James to catch up. Ooh, this is a very close battle as they're coming up to the Schumacher curves. Iman Rayan There is a chance he might lose control of the car again, avoiding the curbs this time, learned from his mistakes last lap, and gets a better run out of the Schumacher curves, catching up to Amiro Afik. Right now, they're still coming there. Ooh, Amiro Afik breaks a little bit early there. I don't think eRacing was expecting that as they're coming up to the fast chicane, fast back straight into the last chicane of the track. eRacing, look at how much he's keeping that BMW under control. But this is do or die. This is the last place you'll be able to make a move. You can see eRacing. Is he gonna go on the outside? Doesn't seem to be able to close the gap enough in time, and Amiro Afik is just very tight on that line. Won't be able to make it through, but here comes the final corner. eRacing again looking for an opportunity. That's not gonna happen. Oh, and we go over to, of course, Jaden Chia, who actually...
I'm not sure if Jaden won that one in the final lap, but we might have missed that because we were focusing on such a great battle between all these guys that are just coming through our screens. The secondary characters to the main protagonist's fight was just as engrossing, but I think that might have been Faisal Alim. Yep, Faisal Alim wins it by a second in front of Kanzani Ramdani. Well, actually by in front of Jaden Chia, my apologies. He was second, and then third will be Jaden. So, what a finish to the race. We got so many little battles to focus on that we couldn't really keep up to with many of them. But I think the Sri Lankan, his first win of the season, and what a way to do it.
Yeah, some of the good, very intense racing coming from the drivers here in the Bronze League. They all know what's at stake. They all want to hunt down for those points. Faisal Alim, of course, didn't manage to participate in last round, so will have to drive extra hard. Of course, again, race 2, as always, is reverse grid. So, eRacing, sorry, not eRacing. Who was in P10 earlier? I didn't see
Luqman
properly.
Hakim.
Yeah, Luqmanul Hakim. He'll be starting on P1. Fazul Ali will be starting in P10. Jaden Shah, again, behind him. And we already saw what happened when these two drivers are just battling each other. Now imagine they have to battle against 8 other drivers.
And, of course, a further 15 further behind.
Yeah, well... it's going to be really tough to call.
Yep, but what's for sure, it is a truly deserved win for Faisal Alim. If we can confirm it right now, if that was to be the case, because we lost sight of the timing screens for a second. And, yep, it is. By about a second, in front of Jaden Shah Ramdani in third place. And, well, that's the main protagonist up in front. Can't wait to see how it will go for round number 2. Plus, race number 2. Plus, Haikal Haris, out of our sights, was to be incognito. He was literally in actual no man's land. 6 seconds behind Ramdani, but 8 seconds in front of Amir Rafiq. He was just happy to be there.
So, okay, Ramdani right now, what kind of position is he in? Will he still be able to hold on to the lead at this point in time? Does seem like he'll still be able to because he does have points from the last round.
Yes, but the thing is, he still outscored Amir Rafiq by just a few points in front because he did finish on the podium.
Yeah.
And, of course, keep an asterisk on race number 2 in round 1 of that one because we might have a possibility of a rerun, but that will be a different case altogether.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, of course. Amir Rafiq, of course, didn't have the best run. He's still in P5, though. Pretty good stuff for him. Two positions just behind Ramdani there.
In the grand scheme of things, that's just a couple of points dropped.
Yep.
But for Chester Lam especially, it was absolute devastation. Looking at the timing screens, he was completely... In fact, P15, so he scored a point. Not the sort of point that he would have wanted. Jaden Chia likewise would have wished he had the win in that particular instance. But it's all up to the stewards now how they can decide that particular court order.
Okay, here we go. Race 2. We're about to start in just a moment there. About 2 minutes left. Okay, I think that first race kind of wore me out because I don't know what to say right now for the start of the second race.
Well, what we can say for the second race is, how does it look like from the driver's point of view? Well, for Luqman Al Hakim, that's the run up to turn 1. That is the easy bit for him, as long as he knows his start and doesn't get swamped up by drivers who are on the inside. The drivers like the likes of Navira Wanakuwata, who is right there, right beside him, about 15 meters behind. Then you got Cameron James adjacent to him, right behind Luqman Al Hakim. That will be the guy to watch out for if he could nail his starts as well. We saw how Porsche's get off the line quite well. No, Wanakuwata may want to bank on that particular instance. Fourth Adam Daniel,
Of course, yeah.
runner-up in the copper class. How he would love to jump up to the front.
Okay, so P4 to P7, same 4 cars we had in the battle for P5 earlier on. Do you reckon it'll be as close now as it was then?
Hopefully it is, because it will just provide us with a really good race the whole way through. But again, it all depends on how the start just cycles everybody out, and see if we could have some battles from there. Let's see, the main protagonist from that first race, Jaden Chia, P9, in front of Fazal Alim, and we saw just now that Fazal was apologizing for the contact, so that may have been unwarranted. But again, racing incidents do happen.
Yeah.
And spare a thought for guys like Alfiko Askar, who starts right at the back in the second race. Now then, focus onto the lights.
Here we go. 6
Fine.
lights on the gantry. 3 seconds till the race start. Let's see if these drivers get a good launch. And they're off! It seems that Lumano Hakim does have a pretty good launch, of course. Naviro Wanakuata just behind him. Again, another fantastic launch for the Porsches. But, of course, the launch almost matters little in the face of T1, as here comes Lumano Hakim. Has a pretty good line on the inside there. So does Wanakuata, so does Cameron James, so does Amir Rafik, so does everyone else. Incident-free turn 1, unbelievable as they're coming up to Mercedes Arena right now. Malifacro, as I say that, little bit of a shunt there. I think he forced one of the drivers off in the blue BMW. Which one was that? That was Chester Lam. Another pretty poor start for him. He's looking to have some revenge there. Also does the same thing back as they're coming to T3. I think, oh, that was a spin.
That spin. I didn't see anybody spin out there. Maybe a half spin, but the rest of the field go through quite safely. And now we can focus our sights on whether or not the whole thing will shake itself out.
Okay, very clean first sector now. I wasn't expecting that, of course, considering what we just saw in race 1, but it seems like most of the drivers have gotten themselves under control. Jaden Chia now in P7, in front of Adam Daniel, in front of Haikal Aris, in front of Fazul Alim, his closest competitor for this round.
Whoa, look at that! Oh, side by side, 3 wide even, 4 if you include the fact somebody behind there.
Gennady Haki goes off!
Haki goes off into the crowd, and we can't even pick him up right now because he's actually still spinning, and he collects Chester Lam. Chester's car is well and truly battered.
Oh no, it just goes from bad to worse. There goes Gennady Haki again. He takes out 2 more cars. That's John McGregor kissing the barrier.
And there's a car around as well. That might have been, I thought it was actually Afiq Farid. No, it's actually Naufal Faiz in the Mercedes. So plenty of other drivers being spun out and spat out completely.
So they heard what we said about having a clean Sector 1, and they did have a clean Sector 1, and then they just did everything in Sector 2 instead. If we have a race 3, maybe they end up screwing up on the last sector, huh?
Let's wait and see till the day we have the third race. As onto the inside goes Imarayan, passing another BMW. Does he get it stopped in time? Yes.
That's Ramdani. He closed the door on Imarayan, but Imarayan does make the pass happen. Kazani Ramdani has to succeed 2 positions because Jaden Shah manages to make an opportunity and strike just as T1 ends. Right now, ooh, little bit of contact between him and Ramdani there. On to T2, into T4.
Oh, big touch in the rear left corner there of Jaden Chia by Kazani Ramdani, and somehow they're still racing.
Okay, well, okay, these cars are like 60% damage in terms of damage transition, so these cars are definitely battered. Definitely feel some mechanical damage coming up from these cars. They won't be performing at peak performance. However, at the end of the state of things right now, Kazani Ramdani is in P7. Jaden Shah is ahead of him. Ayman Ryan in a comfortable 5th position, about the same position he was in race 1. So, ooh, backing off quite a bit there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers within the same airspace. They're within earshot of each other, so this is going to be interesting. A fabulous 9 up in front.
Yeah, okay, you can see that. Amiro Afiq again, Imarayan is going to be contesting with him for a P4 position now. P5 last race. The question is, will he be able to catch up? Because Amiro Afiq is in the draft of the 3 races in front of him.
Yep, and Lumana Hakim is the cork in the bottle here. He did not expect to be still in front of these fast guys as Amir Rafiq nearly gets up to the back of Cameron James, and Cameron James dinks on the inside of Navirag Wanakuwata, who makes a slight mistake. Slight touch there on the start-finish straight, but luckily they didn't get sent into the barriers.
And with cars this fast, a slight nudge could end up just with you just losing control of the car. So it's very important as Amir Rafiq tries to make a move past Cameron James into turn 1, doesn't make it stick. Jaden Chia, of course, as the inside track. Iman Ryan still contesting with him for that P5 slot. I think he actually gave that up to Jaden earlier on because Jaden, of course, known for using the extremities of the track. Now catching up to Amir Rafiq. We're back in the same position we were. Kazani Rabdani also trying to make a move that loses control of his car slightly, coming out of T3 there.
Oh, this is the best race I've seen so far, and we're only 5 minutes in as he looks onto the inside of Amir Rafiq.
Amir Rafiq has to give him space that is coming in. Cameron James being a doorstop to Jaden's assault on positions right now. Does seem to have the better run up, so Jaden might look to make another move happen as they're coming out to turn 7 right now. Jaden Chia, side by side, 2 white coming in, gets the inside track. Ibarre gets forced off, and there goes Amir Rafiq as well.
Oh, Amir Rafiq, lucky that he didn't get wiped that time. Managed to keep it going, but Iman Ryan made a huge miscalculation on the brakes, and that breaks up the Fast 9.
Oh, damn. 5 minutes into the race, and this is how intense we're gonna get. I'm gonna need another drink. Can you have Okay, coming up right now. Oh my god, I'm losing it. Amir Rafiq loses it again. I think he's definitely got some suspension damage right now.
Or maybe just a bit of front-end damage, but whatever it is not helping his cause one bit in front of him. But to console himself at least, he can still keep in sight of the guys right in front of him.
Yeah, definitely. Keeping line of sight is very important because that means you always have a target to achieve. Fazul Alim there in 6th place, Cameron James losing the car a little bit there, but it gives Kazani Radani space to make it pass. Doesn't seem to have it. He has to go on the outside, otherwise he would have had an incident with Cameron James there. But onto the start-finish rate, they have a better exit coming out of it right now.
Cycling through the cameras for a second. We're gonna have to go for a wide shot.
There is into turn 1. Doesn't seem. Oh, they're very close to each other. Lomano Hakim is playing it safe there. Oh, Jaden Chia gets tagged!
Oh, he got tagged around there by Wanakuwata. Luckily, he kept it together. He probably pulled the clutch in and just saved the car. Dives back on the inside of his fellow Porsche man and gets the position away. But with all this battling, that lets Lumanu Hakim away.
Oh, the switch back, the back and forth jostling between positions for P2 right now is Wanakuwata and Jaden Chia. Kazani Ramdani is just behind them. This is now a 4-way battle for P2. Fazul Alim make it 5 cars battling for P2 right now. He's right onto the tail of Cameron James.
Look at that. This is an absolutely brilliant battle. If only Iman Ryan didn't break up that fight with his big mistake coming into this particular corner last time round, it would still be a battle up in front with 7 cars.
Ooh. Okay, Jaden Chia is clearing the field a little bit right now, so now it's a 4-way battle for P3. Just behind Fazul Alim, of course, is Adam Daniel in the Mercedes, and just behind him, Amiro Afik had to succeed 3 positions there in the Ferrari, but trying to make up as much time as possible. Kazani Randani, here he comes right now. This is the Schumacher curves. The Z-Force are known to have some issues coming through there, especially if they run their tires on the curbs. Kazani Radani having it under control. On the curbs, that loses control of the car slightly. Cameron James is right behind him on his tail, ready to attack. Wanakuwata there, holding up the traffic right now as they come over to the NGK chicane. Ooh, this is close. This is tense. Look at the lines they're going to take there. Very clean coming in from both drivers.
And this is tense as well for the final point scoring positions. Afiq Farid holds that position and does maintain it. Oh, he goes onto the curb ever so slightly and in turn forces Haikal Harris into a slight mistake. Now up in front, has Jaden Chia made a move? No, he's still about a couple of tenths behind Muhammad Lukman Hakim. Further behind there, look at that 3-way battle for P3, the final position on the rostrum with Wanakuwata around the outside, Cameron James on the inside, and then goes through is Kanzani Ramdani.
Yeah, makes that pass look so easy, forcing him out of his line there, getting the best exit out of T1 there. Oh, but now that battle for P3 has left the battle for P1 quite a white berth. Oh, Jaden Chia, look at him, he's going in, he's trying to make a dive happen. Looks to see that the Porsche does have a bit more speed than the R8 through this section, or maybe Lukmano Hakim's just being a bit more defensive. losing a lot of speed and doesn't get the best exit out of that particular corner. But here it comes again, turn 7. This has been the crutch for a lot of drivers in the past 2 races. Here comes Jaden Chia on the outside, tries to make a move, wasn't close enough to make it happen. Lumano Hakim just still holding on there. The Schumacher curves are coming up next. Jaden Chia is still trying to make an attack happen there. Staying away from the curves, you don't want to be losing the car right at this moment, just barely grazing it on the exit there. And oh my god, my throat is killing me right now. This is some intense bumper-to-bumper racing.
Yeah, but all the while that they're gonna still be squabbling it out, this brings Kanzani Ramdani back into play as well. So let's hope they battle a bit longer, because we love to see a big chain of cars fighting here for the lead of the race.
Yeah, and just like that, we've just spent 5 minutes talking about it. It felt like 2.5, felt like 3 minutes, it felt like an instant. But we only have 5 minutes left in the race. That means there's only about 3 laps that these drivers have in order to make a move. Lumano Hakim swerves to the inside and tries to get a better line, but that gives Jaden Chia space to catch up. Wasn't expecting that particular move coming from Lumano Hakim. He's playing quite defensively. We'll be able to swerve once, but that's about it. Jaden Chia now has a better run after the start-finish straight. They're too wide coming into turn 1. Will they be able to make the pass happen? Is Jaden Chia right now on the outside? Will he be able to clip the apex and get a better run up on the inside? They're still too wide there. And he does make it past Lumano Hakim. Brilliant drive.
Yep, brilliant drive, brilliant switch back there. Got Lumano Hakim very narrow, and he couldn't defend enough, and he didn't break it. He didn't break just as hard to get by.
Oh boy. Coming up now, Jaden Chia, of course, is going to be in a strong position to hold on to his lead. Well, I'm speechless. That was intense.
Yeah, that was very intense, and it's still gonna go on here. Look at how scuffed Iman Ryan's car is. That's how much damage he incurred in that slight incident with Amir Afiq coming into turn number 7, and he has to deal with yet another Afiq. That's Afiq Farid, no relation again. We have to stress that. This is a very common name. Coming out to turn 7 here. Luckily, he didn't make the same mistake this time around. But oh, spoke too soon. He actually went wide, and he lets Haikal Haris come nearly onto the inside.
Oh my god, turn 7 is just Iman Ryan's worst nightmare in this particular race. Schumacher curves are coming up next. Again, you want to be really, really careful coming up with those curves, because they are the most uneven curves on this track. Keeping it under control this one time, however, he's under some considerable amount of pressure, and he goes wide.
That will let Haikal Haris come up the back of his shaft and give Afiq some much needed points after his tribulations in sim race number 1.
Yeah. Oh, and now we'll go over to the front of the pack, where Kanzani Ramdani is now only half a second behind Lumano Hakim. Lumano Hakim, of course, driving quite defensively, having to hold on as hard as he can to second place. Doesn't want to let Kanzani Ramdani through. If he doesn't, Kanzani Ramdani will still be finishing 3rd place in both races, but he would definitely like a second.
Yeah, especially that would be his best ever result here. And after the trials and tribulations of his first run as well, he will have to come away with a podium here, but he has to fight tooth and nail for it in the final 3 minutes.
Mercedes Arena coming out there. I think Jaden Chia is the only driver that actually puts all 4 wheels on the AstroTurf when he makes this particular corner and wants to get the best run up possible. Cameron James there, oh, in front of Wanakuwata, makes the pass happen. Ooh, I think Wanakuwata gave up a bit too much space there, let Cameron James actually take the advantage. Amiro Afiq, now the biggest beneficiary of this two-way battle, of course, will be able to close the gap between them, trying to hit another P4 position. He got P5 last round. He wants to try and do one better at least, and he's right on the bumper of Wanakuwata.
Yeah, but he wouldn't want to actually end up what happened to Iman Ryan here, losing on the brakes coming to turn 7. Luckily though, he kept it going the right direction. Oh, speaking of turn 7 making a mistake, there goes Wanakuwata. So at least the mistake happened for Amir Afiq.
Yeah, and just like that, he almost rejoined the track and almost clashes with Fazul Alim there. Luckily, they both managed to avoid any incident. Fazul Alim ends up taking this opportunity to get past him. Turn 7 is really proving to be the Achilles heel for a lot of these drivers.
Certainly the most difficult braking spot, because it is a bit cambered on the way in.
And it's downhill.
Yeah, and it also becomes very tight on the exit.
Yeah. Kanzani Ramdani, of course. I think that's a back marker there. Sherman Seng way behind everyone else. He's going to be acting the part of traffic right now. Lumano Hakim will have to be forced to slow down in order to navigate his way past Sherman Seng. That
Yep.
gives Kazani Radani the opportunity to make a move happen. They're coming out to turn 1 right now. They're definitely using the toe from the GTR in order to make it fast and competitive for these two drivers. Right behind them all the way until the end. Here comes Lumada Hakim trying to make it past. Kazani Radani are doing the same thing, but will they be able to clear turn 1? Seems like it. Kazani Radani, a little bit of a shut there. Lumada Hakim, they both took almost the same exact line to T1 there onto Mercedes Arena. Ooh, yeah. Lumada Hakim trying to use as much of the track as possible, using the width of his Audi R8 in order to make sure Kazani Radani can't make that pass happen. And this is the last lap, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, what an exciting pair of races this has been in the bronze class, and as Afiq himself would say, it's always that bronze delivers the good races, and it's certainly no different here with him being involved as well. Speaking of Afiq, there he is now in P8, just 9/10 of a second, under a second behind Monakawata, and well, really enjoying his return to sim racing.
Of course, we definitely have to give a shout out to the biggest winner of this particular race, Jaden Chia, right now in front, 5 seconds ahead of Lukmano Hakim. That back marker really gave him the space to just run away with the lead, and it doesn't seem like anyone will be able to catch up with him now. But Ramdani's race is not over yet. There's one more position in his sights. He wants to make it happen into the Schumacher curves. Ooh, Lukmano Hakim braked quite a bit early there, able to give Ramdani the chance to close the gap there.
Oh, someone's lost it.
That's Cameron James, I think.
Yeah, that might have been Cameron James.
No, it was Fauzo Alim.
Oh, wow, that was a big one. And he lost it all by himself.
Oh, I think Imaraya just went off as well.
No, Imaraya
Okay,
catch up the
he's
back
safe,
of
he's
him.
safe.
Well, we have to go back to the battle for P2. Lukman Hakim with a big slide coming into it, but I think he might have held on for dear life here to get P2. Up in front though, Jalen Chia. We didn't see much of him after his race-winning overtake. He takes the win here in front of a very delighted Lumano Hakim. He will definitely be loving that particular one, and certainly getting one of his fellow countrymen, Kazani Ramdani, who shares an equal amount of respect coming across the line, and that looks as though is mutual respect among the podium finishers.
Cameron James there making it into 4th place. Amiro Afiq, actually there, I think Amiro Afiq may have actually pipped 4th place away. But yeah, we'll wait for the standings there. But oh my God, what a race!
Certainly, and Damien's also looking like he's half asleep now.
Okay, honestly to God, the 2-hour jam that I had to go through to get here may have tuckered me out a bit, but that definitely woke me up.
Better than coffee, I would say.
Yeah, actually. Whoo! Okay.
Wow, well, as the guys stream further behind to finish the races, we might just need to take a break ourselves here and give ourselves a breather before the final races of the day. And that will be the creme de la creme, the gold and silver classes, and with the best cars of the lot, GT1s and GT2s coming your way after a short break.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
We're back. Welcome back to eRacing GP Global Edition Season 13. We are now in the silver and gold class, of course. We had an amazingly intense bronze class racing, and I am completely out of breath.
Yeah, we're almost completely out of breath here, but we saved the best for last. We are here for gold and silver and in the GT1 and GT2 cars. So, to get the housework out of the way, or rather housekeeping out of the way, let's just go through the standings and what track are we racing on. Here is the silver class.
You can see Freddy Malik there. Stellar race in round 1 to secure the win for both races in round 1. 47 points. Didn't get the fastest lap, of course. But 47 points, nothing to sneeze at. In fact, he's substantially ahead of his competition right now with Zikri in second place. Irfan Arifanto in third place, 27 points, 1 point behind Zikri. Tengku Jan, a very well-known name here, in fourth place, tied with Irfan Arifanto, actually. Let's go over to the standings for gold class. Of course, Nakib Azlan in there. Didn't have the best race 2, I don't think, but still managing to hold on to position. 4 points ahead of the Mario Hasnam, our last season's winner. Aldo Balagula in third place. Axel Nocom in fourth. Sai Sudakar in fifth. Fourth, third, fifth, sharing the same amount of points as well. Aryadi Vishnu in sixth. Francis Angelo Gonzalez in seventh. Ricky Satria eighth. Keith Moore ninth. Roy Ripper in 10th. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're heading straight into qualifying.
Yep, qualifying is well and truly underway here with the GT1s and GT2s mixing it together. God, there's so many good stars on our track. We can just stay silent for a second.
Wonderful. And of course, we have liveries working now, so every car looks different and they all look amazing, especially this 458 GT2 car.
Yep, the AF Corsa colors, of course, synonymous with the same AF Corsa hypercar Ferrari that won Le Mans this year. So the team went all the way back. Some of us who are Ferrari fans were cheering behind the scenes right now. What a year! It really makes up for it.
I mean, I'm not a Ferrari fan.
But
I like Ferraris, but the car I'm looking forward to of course, is the 550 Maranello GT1 car. You can see the purple one here, driven by Saisuru car. That is an amazing livery.
Oh, look at that. It's all purple with the best sort of number as well. But sounds amazing as hell.
No, it sounds amazing. This V12 singing to everyone else as we go on board now. You can just hear it as we slowly come up to the entry car chicana.
Yep. Now then, we're on board with Suzuka. Let's go for a lap around the circuit, shall we, Damon?
Alright, I'll take this away now as he comes up to the last corner into the start-finish straight. Does have a pretty good exit there on his outlap. Gonna have to see if we'll be able to set a quick one. Coming out into the flying lap now, onto the straight, into turn 1. Will we be able to see what line he chooses to take there? Cleaning out the outside there, just clipping the apex there. And then very nice exit into Mercedes Arena, turn 2 and turn 3 here. You won't be using as much of the track as we've seen other drivers use, but he'll still keep a very neat and tidy line through there. Slightly loses control of the car into turn 3 there, but just to keep it under control. Here it comes into turn 4. Again, a very solid exit there. I say that as he almost loses it. Again, these cars also substantially faster than the GT3 cars we saw earlier. So they're even more of a handful to drive now. Here we go, turn 7 here. This has been a crutch bane for a lot of drivers in the Bronze League. Seems to be a non-issue for these silver and gold drivers. Of course, here it comes into turn 7 here, keeping it nicely under control. There's a very weird line you have to take through here where you can't really clip the inside until the very end into the Schumacher curves. These cars probably kick the curb a little bit more nicely. There's Heist of the car just clipping on the inside of the last right-hander of that chicane into turn 10. Another 19-degree left-hand turn. Again, very nice, slow, small cut into the corner there. Warsteiner curve. Very nice exit there. Now into the back straight. These cars will probably go about 260 to 270 just before they hit the chicane right now. You can see there, 250, 260, almost 270. Yeah, 260 is about as far as cars dare to go, especially when you have not that much space to make mistakes here. Coming up to the final corner. Size to the car is actually in a pretty good spot right now to set a very quick lap. He's running in the clean air. into the start-finish straight. Will we see the times right now? Will he be staying on pole? He does with a 153.2.
Wow, that is a seriously fast time. 53.2. I was testing these cars the other day. I could do around 154, but Nakib Aslan goes even faster, 53.1. A 10th ahead. In fact, 500s ahead of Suduka. Roy Ripri goes to 4th. Aldebalagul in 5th. And Axel comes 6th. So, the times are tumbling, and the conditions are just about right to see these cars go full pelt.
Yeah, and the track is perfectly sunny as well. These are ideal conditions for some of these drivers. Nakib Aslan, of course, driving in another purple Ferrari, won't be able to set another fast lap now, considering the fact that he's battling in the middle of traffic, and I think he's calling it there. He's pulling off to the side now. Keith Moore running in clean air will be able to try and set another fast lap there. Nakib Aslan.
He didn't call it quits completely. I think he just gave space to some of the other cars, including the GT2 guys, to just get back onto pace for the next lap, but not ideal for him.
Yeah, he will have to see if he'll be able to cross the finish line just before the end of qualifying. If he does, he'll be able to set another lap. Sides to the car here again. He's going to try and set another blisteringly quick time, less than 500ths of a second behind Nakib Aslan, who is one of our fastest drivers in the gold class right now. Sides to the car wants to dethrone him here.
Yep, and he has had a win already. In fact, 2 wins in the GP competition. Incidentally, his very first in silver was when he was using a controller driving the Jordan 191s around Shah Alam. That was probably the pick of the bunch in terms of best first-time wins in ERGP. And he was really frank about it, but he was happy to have it either way. He's not happy to have that one, though. He's off the track into the grass, but at least he's got no one behind him and in front of him. He can start yet another lap immediately.
Yeah, good job for him. He does have enough time to cross the finish line and start one more lap. But again, you can just see how much he's struggling to keep that Ferrari under control. These GT1 cars are immensely fast. Of course, here you go, Nakib Aslan. He was... will he be able to cross the finish line? Yes, he will, but just barely in time for his next fast lap. We'll see if any other drivers manage to defront him. Aldo Balagun actually setting a new personal best right now, 154.2. Not enough to bring him up into the second and first positions, but still a pretty good spot for him to be in. Roy Rip 1/10 behind him in 4th place. Demario Hasdam coming out of nowhere with a 153.6 in the Neapolitan colored 550 Maranello.
Indeed, what an amazing lap. And speaking of laps that are conversely not amazing, at the moment it's at least Nabil Aslan has not set a fast time yet. 2:15.0. He needs to get his lap in, otherwise he has to start all the way to the back among the GT2 guys.
Yeah, and in silver class, of course, we can see Vladi Malik again. Very fast lap. I think he just took pole there for the silver class in P11 with 156.2. Doesn't seem to be any other drivers in front of him right now. Of course, Irfan Arifanto just behind him, 2/10 behind Nabil Aslan. Here he comes for his final lap. What will he be setting? 153.4, so another fast lap. Oh, Sai Sudukar is trapped between the Aslan brothers now.
Yeah, that's the sort of company that he probably wouldn't really mind too much, because we know how he can be very fast. Case in point here, look, 53.2. He's only one of 4 drivers in the 53s. That shows the quality that he has under his locker. And let's see whether or not he can actually pull another one out of the bag for this final run.
And Jikashi Khan coming out there. Will he... Hopefully he manages to keep control of his car there. Nice and tidy through that. Couple of wheels on the grass. Probably not the best thing to do. And that's it. He called it. Those 2 wheels on the grass really ended up spoiling that lap for him. As Nakib Aslan, he has a chance to improve on his personal best now. If he gets this, he will be getting points for having the fastest lap on the qualifying.
And he does! Oh! 52.6! What an absolute stonking lap!
That was blisteringly fast. Wow, where did that come from?
Wow, that was something that I did not expect. That is just Nakib Aslan's quality, isn't it? 2 consecutive pole positions in a row, and it will take some beating there to see if they could reel in Nakib after that fast one. Nabil will be playing rear gunner there for sure. He's in P3, but if it comes to the crunch, he will definitely try to fight tooth and nail with his brother.
Ooh, whoa. This race just suddenly got a whole lot more interesting. Nakib Aslan again on pole position right now. Same deal as last time around. This time he will have to try a little bit harder to hold on to his lead.
Yep. And BOP might come into play after this, considering how fast some of the Ferraris are. In fact, it is an all-Ferrari top 8. First 4 rows of the grid, with the only exception being Axel Nocom driving in the Celine P9. And looking through the other drivers in the field, Francis Angelo Gonzalez also in the Celine. He changed from the Koenigsegg after round 1. He's in 11th. 12th is Vladi Marek, first of the GT2 Silver guys. He's in front of Irfan Arifianto. That will be a storyline that will be developing as the season progresses. And I saw just now, I think Darren Ivan Rajin making a return. He's in the Ferrari as well, P23, behind some of the GT2 guys. So he's going to have to make his way out through the field.
Yeah,
Now,
I think we definitely have considered talking about balancing the Ferraris a little bit last week. Haven't really acted on that yet because we haven't really decided what the appropriate balancing thing would be. Our restrictors,
yeah.
maybe.
That will be the case, but again, that will take a lot of
Fine-tuning,
fine-tuning
yeah.
because from what I was testing, the Ferraris and the Celines were about the same.
Yeah.
When I was doing around Catalonia, it was exactly 41 deads when the cars were really going full pelt. Some of the other cars were not that far off either. In fact, the Lamborghini, the Koenigsegg, they were all within 2 to 3 tenths.
So what you're
my
saying
testing.
it's a matter of car control then?
Some drivers probably were finding it quite tough, when others, when they found out that, oh, they can drive the Ferrari, just take the Ferrari. And again, it's just a case of build a Ferrari, people will come. Well, that's just a phrase
Of course,
I made up.
yeah. It's a Ferrari. I mean, who would say no to a Ferrari?
Again, we have to view this camera every now and then. Right at the back, Darren Ivan Rajin is in a GT1. Facing the other guys right up in front, look at that. He's actually right at the corner before even the race starts.
Okay, so after the absolute intensity that was the bronze class, we now go over to silver and gold. Of course, multi-class racing is always going to be a fun time. Some of these silver drivers actually can mingle with the gold drivers. Here we come, 6 lights on the gantry. 5 seconds to race start. 3, 2, 1. Let's see if they have a good launch. And they're off. It seems like most of the cars seem to be having fun. Actually, Nakim Aslan didn't have the best launch coming out of the start gates right now. Actually, no, that was Sai Sudokar. He didn't have the best launch there. Nabil Aslan is now sandwiching him and Nakim as they're coming to turn 1. This is going to be a big one.
And there you go. That's as expected. Nabil gets the start he wanted, but no! Nearly gets tapped out by Sai Sudokar there. That was pretty close between both of them. And luckily, though, Nabil kept it going in the right direction.
Oh yeah, this is going to be really difficult to keep under control, especially when you're at low speed corners like this. Anything can happen. Demario Hasnam now in 4th place behind 3 purple 550 Maranellos, of course. And again, Demario Hasnam was our winner last season of Global Edition. We'll be looking to repeat that in this season as well, but he does have a lot of competition to contend with.
Yeah, particularly the 2 Aslan brothers, and there's the other 2 as well. In fact, all 4 Aslans are in this race. Nakim and Nabil up in front, Nazmir and Nazri, eldest being Nazri, and Nazmir at the back. So in GT2, they have 2 other Aslans, so can you imagine that? The whole family races.
I'm trying to figure out how exactly the logistics for that will work. Do they all race in the same room, or like they all have like their own sim rigs inside their rooms?
I have no idea. That we have to ask Nabil and Nakib after this. But for the time being, though, it looks as though up in front, Nakib made the start that he wanted, and Nabil is acting as rear gunner. It takes you all the way back to Global Edition 6, if I'm not mistaken. That's how long ago that was when we had 2 Aslan brothers up in front.
Yeah, so we're now looking through the standings right now, waiting for the scoreboards to properly update. We can see Nakib, Aslan in front, still holding on to that lead quite well, quite consistently in fact. And Nabil Aslan just behind him, playing a bit of spoiler to Sai Sudokar, who really wants to make a move happen.
And Sai, sorry.
Ended up in podium for the last round, I think. Didn't really do as well as he would have hoped. But of course, the Mario Haslam is also right behind him. And again, this is a pretty intense battle right now. It's for P2 because Nabil Aslan is trying to hold out traffic for Nakib here.
Yeah, in fact, he's playing rear gunner a bit. But I would say, when it comes to the crunch, if both of them were to go wheel to wheel, it's all bets are off. Both brothers have actually stated before that they love to have each other as teammates, but when it comes to fighting on track, they would just go at it. And, you know, that's what we love. We just want to see good, clean racing.
Yeah, definitely here. Ooh, you can just see how much of a struggle it is for anyone to keep these cars under control. You have to be really, really smooth with your throttle inputs. Just as coming out, Axel Nocom, a Celine, an American in a sea of Italians here. You can see on the Celine S7 here.
Yeah, it also has a very nice V8 at the back of that thing. But crucially, it is also finely balanced because you can see there among the Ferraris, the Celine actually is not that bad either. So at least in terms of performance, these two cars are not that far off.
We just have to wait to see as the race develops to see whether or not the Celine can make any headway through the rest of the pack right now, because all 6 cars in front of him are indeed Ferraris.
Yep. As here's the other Ferrari tailing the top 10, which is battling with Celine, Francis Angelo Gonzalez, only just in front of the battle for the lead in the silver class.
Oh, Gonzalez goes a little wide wide there, manages to keep it under control. Vladi Malik in the very, very purple GT2 Porsche, fending off Faris Aksan here, coming into Engika Sakan. I've been pronouncing that chicane 4 different ways over the course of this entire night. I still don't know which one is the correct one.
Chicane, NGK chicane. Because I'm pronouncing it in a very German way. We normally say chicane, but because it is spelled in a German way, so I pronounce it.
Yeah, but the alphabet in German is also said differently. Yeah, so G is they're kind of like phonetic in their nature. So like NGK, which is what I've learned from a German rap song a long time ago. I don't seem to remember what it's called now, but I will find it eventually. Anyway, back to the race here. Darren Ivan Rajan starting from the back of the pack, actually making quite a lot of positions here in P16, P15 now actually.
Yeah, but he's battling against GT2 guys in the silver category, so this is not where he wants to be. He knows full well that he can just power his way through, but they're battling in their own little race. And speaking of that, he's also going to come into play in the battle for the podium. There's, Keith Moe and actually Francis Angelo Gonzalez fighting. That brings the GT2 battle even closer.
Yeah, I think Francis Angelo Gonzalez was trying to make a move on Keith Moore that doesn't seem to be able to make it happen just yet. They've been battling for that position for quite a while now. We just haven't been tuning in. Here it comes, turn 7. This is the crutch. This is how a lot of races end for some of these drivers.
Oh! And look at that traffic jam. That is the mayhem. Oh, turn 7 once again. Who's going to take the lead? Who's going to crawl out of it into the first position? Oh no, Francis still gets taken out there. And Keith Moe somehow only lost a couple of positions. But through all of that, it is actually, is it already Vishnu Vladi? Vladi manages to make it through, and Nico Sage, a returning French kid who has been champion before, he's up to 2nd place out of all of that.
Yeah, you can see Vladi Malik, he's got a smile on his face. He knows he managed to get out of there pretty clean. He's happy with the position he's in right now. P10 overall, P1 in class, still holding off 2 other 911s, of course. Oh man, turn 7. What a nightmare for this particular day.
And for Francis Angelo Gonzalez, it was even worse. He got a double whammy out of all of that.
Oh man.
Right. Well, actually, we have to focus on the battle for the silver class as well, because remember, it's 2 races in 1. It's still not over, despite that massive fracas.
Yeah, Maxim Nicola Sage, P11.
We're going to have to stay on board with Kimo because he can see the whole thing in this particular battle. Forget about the battle in the front. We'll lead him out for a while. We have to see the battle for the first 3 positions in silver here first.
Yeah, and Keith Moore knows he's not actually competing against these drivers, so he has to play as safe as possible as Arifato almost loses control of the 911 here coming into turn 3. Keith Moore, he wants to try and make it past his traffic. He wants to be competing for the rest of the grid, but doesn't seem to be able to make it happen because these 3 cars are in a battle of their own right now.
Yeah, they've pretty much checked out, and I think the Porsche might just be slightly faster in this regard this one, because it is quite a handful through the corners, but it is fast on the straights.
Definitely so, and we can see there's a lot of damage on the 550 that you hate to see it. A beautiful Ferrari like that, full of dents. But of course, we have to look over to the 3 911 GT2s here. Sai Sudokar still trying to get past Nabil Aslan. Has been trying that for the past 7 minutes, of course. Unable to make any headway, but they're still quite close together. Demario Hasnam not that far behind either.
Yeah. In fact, Demario Hasnam's actually been biding his time. He's playing it ever so long in his game, trying to get up to the rostrum. And for the time being at least, he's walking with it without any damage. Maybe he's going to turn up the wick in the final half of the race. We're already exactly halfway through. 7.5 minutes left to go now, Damon.
Woo! Oh my god. Anyways, Sai Sudokar right now. Demario Hasnam there. Roy Ripperip a considerable amount behind. So right now, all these 4 cars are in a complete stratosphere of their own. They're playing their own game, doing their own race, making sure they can hold on to this position. Demario Hasnam will definitely be chasing for that podium finish. He needs it right now, especially in this position that he's in. Not doing so well in the very first round. Looking to make himself a redemption arc here. Just behind that, we have Aryadi Vishnu, Priyanatha, Aldo Balagulan. Not really a contest between these 3 cars as well. So that leaves the positions currently set in stone with Roy Ripper in 9th and Vladi Malik still leading the silver class in P10.
Did I say that Demario Hasnam turning up the wick? He is in fact turning up the wick. He's actually much closer this time to Sai Sudokar as he was the previous lap. Now he's ready to strike.
Yeah, here we go. Past turn 7 into the Schumacher chicanes right now. Not really chicanes, it's an S-curve. I just called it a chicane because it was an S-curve. Don't know what happened there, but of course... Oh, Sai Sudokar there going a little bit aggressive on the exit. Probably lost a lot of speed there, putting 2 tires on the grass. Demario Hasnam notices his chance to strike. Will he be able to? Here comes after turn 10 right now. Into the back straight. Here we go at Van Bogen. The run up for these cars especially is 260 if you're not in the toe, probably a little bit more if you are right now. 264, 265, almost there, just behind. Oh, the chicane's very deadly for some of these cars as well. A very big handful to drive, and he's still right on the tail of Sai Sudokar right now.
Not a good exit that time round either because Sudokar manages to just stall Hasnam's momentum coming through the corner, and across the line they go. The gap goes back up to half a second, so Sai Sudokar staves off Hasnam's advances only for this lap.
Yeah, but you now know that the battle right now is no longer for P2, but instead P3 right now. This battle for the front and the pack, this podium finish, very important to both of these drivers. One of the drivers just gone off that. That was Irfan Arifanto. He's out of the running now for top 3 in silver.
And he has to actually get it back together because he knows full well Vladi Malik will walk it out here right now. Whatever happened to that particular Porsche, we unfortunately have not seen what happened. We only saw the end of it, but that puts a spanner into the books for his particular championship fight.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. He does still have a few more minutes to make something happen there. Zikri, and some smoke came out of his car there. Not sure what happened. Competing with Nazmir Aslan there, you can see sliding out of the corners. They're trying to get as much traction out of the exit of turn 2 into turn 3 and then turn 4 right now, staving off the competition. We have to talk about, of course, Tengku Jan, who is unfortunately not having the best time of his life right now. Stuck in P17. That looks like it's about P6 in class for him. So not a great position for him.
Yeah, especially given the fact that he had such a really good first race of the season. He actually managed to get onto the podium, in fact, in the first race. He finished 2nd. So it goes to show that despite coming from a real world background, he really knows how to sim race, and he sim races quite well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the experience would definitely translate, and vice versa as well. But of course, anything can happen in the world of sim racing. There could be unfortunate incidents that might happen over the course of 15 minutes. If you race for 15 minutes, it definitely feels like a long time, especially for those who are watching right now, who want to be in the driver's seat, of course. Demario Hasnam is now pulling up side by side with Sai Sudokar right now. That's a lot of S's, alliterations everywhere. That one sentence is coming up to T1, coming on the inside. Demario Hasnam tries to make a move, does get an inside track. You can see wheels smoking right now. Makes the must happen. Sai Sudokar loses it on the exit, and Demario Hasnam makes the pass.
Well, it might be too little too late to battle Naki Bazlan. He might just fancy his chances against Nabil. Oh, he slides it! Big time! Scandi flick his way through. What a save!
That was him showing off that, drifting through turn 3 right now. But that gives Sai Sudokar a chance to keep up. This track is quite narrow through this particular sector, so he won't be able to make a move just yet right now. Ooh, but Demario Hasnam is a bit weary on the brakes right now. He's a bit wary. He wants to make sure his car is in tip-top condition because that slide probably did a number on his tires.
Yeah, in fact, he might have done even more so damage after trying to chase after Sudokar himself.
Yeah.
Hasnam.
Okay, here we go. Sai Sudokar in a race to attempt to reclaim that P3 position into the Schumacher curves right now. You just see the sparks coming up of the cars as they're coming up to that uphill section. This track has a lot of elevation changes, so you have to be wary. Your braking zones probably aren't where you might expect them to be on a level circuit, of course.
Oh, the car shimmy a bit there for Sudaka. You can tell he's pushing as well. We're going to have to go slightly further back. There's a battle between another Aslan and Muhammad Zikri. Nazmir Aslan, the youngest of the four, the quad of the Aslans.
Quadruplets, right? Yeah.
Quadruplets.
No, they're not really quadruplets. I mean, they're not the same ages.
Well, they're not the quintessential quintuplets either.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure.
They don't have to need another sibling to make up that number. But among the Fab Four, this is Nazmir's third consecutive season in ARGP. He did join the very first time in the Malaysian division in season 11. Had a few highs and lows, but ultimately a high he finished on the podium. He might see that this might be a bridge too far this time, considering the fact that there's plenty of competition in silver now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a very competitive league right now, as we've already seen for the previous two leagues. Nicola Sage here, right behind Vladi Malik. They're still battling for P1 in class right now. Whether or not they'll be able to make the move happen, we'll have to wait and see. This is going to be the last lap for these two drivers as they're coming out to turn 1 right now. Vladi Malik gets the inside track. Nicola can't make a move happen. They're clipping on the inside. Doesn't have the best exit through turn 1. Won't be able to make a move so early on turn 2, but Roy Rimmer is holding up Vladi Malik right now.
I forgot how old Nico is because it's been a while since I met him, since I last saw him. And his dad, Jean-Luc. Of course, being French, they decide to go back there for a year to let him know his family members before properly coming back to Malaysia. He's done a lot of his racing here, but he still enjoys a bit of sim racing. And for the time being at least, this is a battle for the win in silver.
Ooh, a little bit early on the brake side for Vladi Malik. A little bit of a brake check that Nicola wasn't quite expecting, that had to slow down a bit. And then the gap just extends for him.
Yeah, the helmet went away for a second. I saw the driver model inside, and that was quite scary. But, yeah, Vladi actually showing a little bit of grit here, trying not to lose position to the GT2 guys. He knows he can't fight. Look at that. His car is absolutely smashed. The front of that the front window is completely borked, but he's still fighting.
Yeah, you're in the position right now. Of course, you're not really competing with the other cars in the class. Aldo Balagulan, the only Ferrari with the most unique livery here of this round. Is this the default one?
Yeah, that's actually a livery he made. But across the line, Nakib Aslan takes the victory, and for the second straight race, has another good one. There's Nabil goes off into the stratosphere, straight into Narnia. And third place was, I think, Demario Hasnam. But across the line, did Nico Sage make the move? No, Nico spun around. Nico's actually gone into the gravel. That might have been a hit with Vladi Malik. Vladi comes across the line, takes a third consecutive win in the silver class. And what happened to young Nico Sage? That would have been a disastrous mistake. Vladi is all smiles. Zikri somehow out of all of that finishes second in front of Nazmir. So yet another podium for the young Malaysian, the 16-year-old Toyota Gazoo racing driver. Oh, it's only the first race and we've had this much excitement.
What do you mean it's only the first race? It's been the fifth.
No,
for
first
us.
race in goal.
Yeah. But like, come on, man. We've been here for the past 5 races, and each time we finish a race, we're short on breath.
Oh, we can't interview the drivers in the middle of the race because we know for a fact that sometimes we disrupt them in their concentration. But if we were to talk to them now, I think they would agree that was probably the best racing we've seen so far in gold class by a country mile.
Yeah, definitely. And probably like this round will be quite a highlight for anyone who wants to tune into Global Edition or even thinks about participating in it, because if you can get high octane and high intensity racing like this, well, I mean, that's just what every sim racer's dream is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get back. Let's get our bearings back again. We're of course right now Nakib Aslan, comfortable first place, very well clear of the rest of the pack. His brother Nabil Aslan is now in second. Demario Hasna managing to edge outside Sudakar for that P3 podium finish that will keep him well in the points. Sai Sudakar in 4th place. We have Aryani Vishnu there in 5th.
Yeah.
With Priyanata and 6th, Aldo Balagul in 7th.
Yeah, incognito races for a couple of those guys because they kept clear of trouble for the most part, but they were pretty much in no man's land. Exonocom had a very tough race considering the fact that he had to battle with an armada of Ferraris, but the Celine has been quite decent. So let's not say that the Ferrari is all out going to be the best car on the entire grid. We still see a variety in it. And behind him, Roy Rip Rip with a damaged car manages to hold off Vladi Male, the first of the silver drivers, winning for a third straight race. And your heart goes out to Nico Sage. He fought so hard to go up to the back of a race-winning position, only to drop it in the final lap.
Yeah, bottling it at the very end was definitely going to be a tragic event for any driver. But of course, we have to talk about Vladi Malik. Consider this, right? We were talking about Raja Amirul Shaukat and how he broke his win streak in race 1 of round 2. Vladi Malik is up there right now.
Yeah, we're still waiting for him to drop a race because the moment that he takes 2 straight race wins, the championship's going to look a little bit more difficult for those guys behind him.
Yeah, definitely going to be a bit more skewed. He's going to have to like drop a race in order to get every other driver there a fighting chance. But doesn't look like that's going to be the case right now as we are coming in to race 2. Of course, reverse grid. That means Nakib and Nabil Azlan starting at the back of the pack.
And speaking of back of the pack, this is Darren Ivan Rajan. We saw him just now in the exact same position. He started where he finished. So unfortunately, he's got still a whole lot of work to do to get by some GT2 traffic and some of the drivers in GT1 as well.
Okay, consider this. Vladi Malik finished P10 overall. That means he's a GT2 car starting P1 on the grid. That's going to be a bit of a difficult situation for him because probably most of the GT1 cars that make up the rest of the pack is going to be just zooming past him. But if he can make turn 1, there is an argument to be had for him almost making a podium finish overall.
We've had instances where silver drivers have won, but we were having the same cars that time around, you know, like
very balanced, yeah.
Yeah, so that may not be the case here because different performance parameters, but if a GT2 car were to win overall, that would be something.
Yeah, definitely. So you can see that the balance of the difference in performance between these two cars is not that big compared to GT3 cars. Of course.
Yep. I'm looking at different camera angles from different drivers. This is what it looks like from Nakib Azlan's point of view. He'll have 10 other cars, 8 GT1s, and 1 GT2 right in front. So that is an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah, so now, okay, it looks like the back 4 is going to be quite an interesting session. We've got 10 seconds left to race start. The lights are already on the gantry, glowing round. We've got 5 seconds to race start. 3, 2, 1, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. They're off. Look at the launch from that 911.
Wow, wait, what a launch from Vladi Male. He got clear of the rest of the field as a further spin behind there. That might have been Darren Ivan Rajan or Azwan Anwar. But no, in fact, it's Azwan Anwar sent to the back. But what a start from Vladi Male. He got clear of the GT1 spin. That's Filipino being run right. That's Roy Rip Rip. He's going to have to wait for the rest of the field to go by. Francis Angelo Gonzalez gets spun around as well. That is a couple of drivers causing that mayhem. But up in front, it's Vladi Male with the start of dreams.
We finally had a turn 1 with a bunch of incidents. How did it take this long to get to that point? This is the 6th race of this entire night. And now there's an incident at turn 1. Of course, Vladi Malik, the biggest beneficiary of this one incident. P1 overall right now. He's in a very good spot. Demario Hasnam also in a very good spot. He's in P2 with Nakib Azlan just behind him.
Oh, this is a great battle. This is a clash of the titans. 2 champions. One driver with 2 championships already under his belt, and the other guy having his first just last season. So 3 titles in it between them, and it's nothing to separate these 2 drivers in this first lap.
Oh, okay, we're just starting out and already the battle for P2 is getting intense. We'll call it P1, of course, because it's only a matter of time before they catch up.
And also it's between the classes
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, unless Vladi Malik somehow manages to keep everyone behind him for the entire 50-minute duration. So, Demario Hasnam, good point, good place to be in the lead right now. You can see, I think Nakib is there just behind him. You can see in the rearview mirrors what a menacing presence. And then just behind him, of course, is his brother Nabil Azlan right now, coming up to the NGK chicane. Ooh. Losing
full
control of the
commitment.
car a bit there.
Yeah, full commitment for details. But you can see that despite the Porsche having the best of starts, it's a lighter car compared to the Ferraris. But performance-wise, the Ferraris are going to pass through any day of the week. There goes the leaders for the fight for the lead. Or does it? Fladdy actually still manages to get nearly into the mix of it.
Woo! Okay, right now, Demario Hasnam in lead. Nabil Azlan unable to get through Fladdy Malik just yet. They're coming into turn 2 right now, forcing Demario Hasnam a little bit wide. That means Nakib Azlan has the inside track for turn 3. Will he be able to make his stake? No, Demario Hasnam now has the inside track for turn 4. And side by side, little bit of contact there, but nothing too serious. And they're still grinding doors with each other right now.
And Demario still somehow ends up in front of Nakib, even through out of all of that. What an actual battle of the titans here up in front.
Yeah, right now you can see Nabil Azlan in the back. They're still trying to get past Fladdy Malik. Hasn't been able to make that happen yet. But on the other hand, right now we have Sai Sudukar stuck in P7, unable to make any headway right now. This was one of the front runners for a podium finish. Ended up in P4 right now, so it won't be in a really great spot after this round.
Yeah, again, it's just a case of being consistent. He just wants to get points on the board. But crucially, it's not at least 0 points. It's not 0 points that he's gained out of this.
Yeah, definitely. Still being in the points is a very good idea because that means he's still in the standings, of course. Right now, Demario Hasnam trying to hold on to the lead right now. If he holds on to it for another 11 minutes, I can't imagine the amount of pressure that he'll be undergoing right now with Nakib Azlan hot on his heels as they come up to the end of lap 2 right now after the fast straight into the chicane in the toe, but not close enough to make something happen at the final corner right now. Ooh, Demario Haslam almost losing the car there. Nakib Azlan puts 2 tires on the grass.
Wow. They are really going at it full pelt. This is the battle that we wanted to see, but we were robbed of it in race number 1. Now we get a race 2. This is going to be interesting. The Malaysian versus the Indonesian. Stratos Motorsports versus MPR GP. Ferrari versus Ferrari. Coming out to turn 1. Would it be a move? Nakib goes onto the outside. Inside. Switchback. Nearly pressures Hasnam into a mistake, but Hasnam is well aware of it as well.
Yeah, you can see the face of determination here for Nakib Azlan. Look at how much he's concentrating right now. He's just, ooh, Demario Haslam there. A little bit of a slide coming out of T3. Doesn't have the best exit there. Nakib Azlan gets the inside track. Almost gets past them. Didn't have the best run up, however. And Demario Haslam still holding on to the lead. I am losing my voice right now.
Oh, we can't lose it. We still have 10 minutes to go here to cover and some of the interviews afterwards. But what an absolutely amazing start to this race. This might be the pick of the bunch. We haven't had goal races this exciting in quite a long time. Not least for the fact that we have 2 champions fighting in the first 2 positions. And Nabil Azlan manages to get by Fladdy. He's watching brief. He wants to, both of them, you know, in the nicest way possible to get out of his way.
Okay, right now we're still here watching this battle. I think this might be the only battle we'll be concentrating on for the rest of the race if this keeps up. Between these 2 drivers, of course, Nakib Azlan, ooh, look at that. He's trying to be as offensive as possible. Demario Haslam is, on the other hand, trail braking into the corners, playing a bit defensively. Doesn't cover the inside line fully, doesn't want to end up making a mistake, of course. Any mistake could be fatal for either of these drivers right now. And with how close they are, the chances are very high.
Oh, look at that. He goes already outside. He wanted to go check one on the inside here for out of the chicanes. Coming out to turn the final corner.
Ooh.
So they clashed. Oh, they've touched and they've gone off the track. That's what Nabil wanted. Nabil goes into the lead of the race.
And just like that, a mistake from one of the drivers ends up costing both of them their positions right now. Both of them dropped 1 position. Nabil Azlan will be very comfortable with the lead, but here they come. They're side by side for turn 1.
There we go. Then take number 2. This time Nabil just get away. Nakib around the outside. Will he make it stick? Yes, he does this time. He gets the inside line and takes 2nd place. It could have been the lead, but Hasnam fights back. Hasnam goes back onto the inside. Will he take it? It's a bit of a revenge, I guess.
He has to give a bit of space.
Yeah, he wants a bit of revenge after that particular instant.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that. That shunt pushed him out as well as Nakib Azlan there. They're not going to be happy. Nakib Azlan, little less unhappy considering it's his brother that took the position, and he's still pretty high up in the points, so he's still going to be very comfortable with him. Demario Haslam, same position he was in last race, doesn't have as much pressure this time around, but it looks like he'll be able to hold on to them as we now Now we're able to go to the rest of the field as we look at the battle between Nicolas Sage and Irfan Arifanto. Arifanto, of course, ended up tragically losing the battle for P3 in class.
And of course, what happened to Nico Sage as well?
Yep.
He was battling for the lead and the win in the silver class. Got absolutely sent into the gravel trap, and unfortunately, that's not the type of dune he would have wanted to watch.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll be able to keep it under control. You've done it for about 15 minutes. You've done it for 14 minutes. Now you have to just do it for 15. As Darren Ivan having to leave the race, disconnect. I think there was a DNF for him on his side. Woo. Okay, right now we're at a position where I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say?
Well, we're focusing on the battle for second place in silver with Irfan Arifianto, Nico Sage, and Muhammad Zikri. Zikri is aiming for a second straight podium. Goes onto the grass on the outside there. That's full commitment. He really wants to get by. Oh, big slide. Big slide from Zikri. And that will give Keith Moore an opportunity to overtake him for an overall position.
Yeah, he needs to get this position because he still has to be in contention for points in his class right now. He doesn't want to be stuck in traffic for too long like he was in last race. I am channeling my inner Ric Flair right now, just going off on every other minute making noises, but that's just the way it is right now because the situation for this particular night of racing is just so intense.
Yeah, we haven't had gold and silver this intense in quite a while. We've had a few, well, slow burners, but this one, the flamethrower went full napalm from the beginning.
Yeah, and now if we can see on the top three that the gap between the top three drivers are completely clear. They're 1 second separating all of the drivers. So now we're paying attention to the battle between Arifanto and Nicolas Sage here. You can see just how much pressure Arifanto is in. Hopefully he doesn't cause another end up with another mistake. You see Nicolas on your screen right now. Very young driver, of course, but also very fast and full of potential.
Absolutely. And he's already fulfilled that potential with a race win. A few race wins and a championship to boot. I think he won it all the way back in, God knows, it was a long time ago. Season 7, yeah. Along the same time as Imran Zahaili, Axel Nocom, and Alessandro Ottaviani.
Yeah, and he looks so much more different than he is now. Grew up a little bit, looks a lot more handsome, of course. Hasn't lost his edge for speed, however. Right now, is still battling there. I think he trying to get past Irfan Arifanto. Arifanto a little bit squirrely on the exit of the back straight. If there's a move to be made, it's got to be made now. Yeah, Nicola backed off a bit. Didn't want to end up with a collision for both of these drivers. Oh, that was Zikri. I think he just went off.
And he might have hit the curb a little bit too hard there. That is a treacherous corner, and he goes straight off. Now battle for the lead, though. Naqib Aslan is right on the back of his brother, Nabil. This is a friendly rivalry that might be put to the test here, because I did say before, if these two were to come to the punch, they would just go flat out.
Yeah, push comes to shove right now. These two drivers are battling it out. Same car, same class.
And same team.
Yep.
They're both driving for Stratos. Naqib goes around the outside. This is going to be a very hairy maneuver. Somehow they didn't touch. This was Felipe Massa, Fernando Alonso's in 2007 overtaking maneuver. But luckily they didn't touch.
Oh my god, that was a tandem pass if I've ever seen one right there. Naqib Aslan smiling on the camera, as you can see right now. He knows he made an excellent move.
And you can see he's smiling ear to ear, almost like the Joker even, because he knows he really got one over his brother that time around. And Nabil's turn now to respond to that particular challenge.
Yeah, the question is, will he be able to? He managed to hold on to the lead for a considerable amount, but now the battle, again, we're going back here. Nicolas Sage versus Irfan Arifanto. No progress has been made since we left them. Other than the fact that the gap has narrowed quite a bit, Irfan Arifanto again under considerable amount of pressure right now. Oh, look at that. He loses control of the car just a little bit. Again, same scenario as Nabil and Naqib Aslan earlier. Same car, same class, same... what's the other word I'm looking for right now? Not in the same team, unfortunately, but the cars are still very evenly matched. So now it's just a testament of driver skill. And Irfan Arifanto, you can see that he's being a bit nervous with his driving, being a little bit defensive as they come over NG Kashikin. braking a little bit late. There is Nicolas Sage in front. Arifanto a little bit squirrely on the exit as he has been over the past lap and a half. We've got about 3 minutes left to the end of this race. Will Nicola be able to make a move just before that? Vladimir still comfortably in front. This is a battle for P3 in class because Faris Aksan is still in P2.
Yeah, in fact, he's actually streaked away from these two. Coming on to turn 1, there's Keith Moore watching brief. Arifianto on the inside, Sage on the outside. Sage with a brilliant out-braking maneuver there, but can he make it stick on the inside this time? Yes, he does. But does he end the battle here? He's still in front. Yes, he does. But Arifianto gets back on the inside. He has it.
Oh,
side by side.
Into turn 4 right now. They're still side by side as they enter turn 5. Whoa. This is the exact same position that the Aslan brothers were in. The question is now who ends up in front. Nicolas Sage is now in front right now. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. Might be forcing them off the track a little bit. Another little bit shut there as they're coming into turn 6. Rolling all the way up to turn 7 right now. Big move coming from Nicolas Sage and managing to secure the pass.
A very big move from the little man. That was a brilliant piece of racecraft from the young Frenchman. Now he's ready to just streak away up in front. He's hoping that Keith Moore will be fighting Arifiante here so that he can make a beeline for it, as this is a battle of the youngsters. Keith Moore, Axel Nocom, and Nico Sage, all of them with a combined age of 30, would you believe it?
Oh man, I'm already we're both like, what, 26? Oh my god, dude. That doesn't tell you how old we feel right now. Nothing will. But, of course, these drivers have been driving since they were young. They're extremely fast right now. Just behind them, Axel Nocom in the Celine hounding Keith Moore, who is currently stuck in traffic. I mean, these GT2 cars, they're still not as fast as the GT1 cars, and Axel Nocom knows that and is taking advantage of him, able to see through the windshield despite the fact that it's cracked in a million different places. But here comes the V8. Oh, you can just hear that V8.
Oh, very meaty, isn't it? And Arifianto still hasn't given it up. He's actually back up to the back of Nico Sage. He doesn't want to lose 2 podium positions in the same weekend.
Look at that smoke coming out of Keith Moore's car, having to brake super hard there. I don't think Axel Nocom was prepared for it, but he takes advantage of it. Does make the pass happen. He's now in front of Keith Moore and for Arifanto, unable to make the pass on Nicolas Sage right now.
And that was the sort of battle that Nico was hoping for, because he wanted Arifianto to be distracted by these gold class guys, and guess what? That has happened. That's given him a bit of a respite, but he still has to fend it off for the next lap because we're on the final lap now. Some of the battles have died out a bit, apart from this one, of course. The battle for the lead, yes, but battle for second still on. Nabil has to fend off the Mario Hasnam this time.
Yeah, the Mario Hasnam having flashbacks to his battle with Sai Sudakar a bit earlier in the last race. Right now, still trying to close the gap between him. He has half a lap to do so. Will he be able to? He only has 2 places to make a move right now. Would be this chicane in front as well as the final corner ahead, which is where he lost his pole position.
Yeah, but again, this is what happened when a move is being plotted just corners prior to that. But it looks as though Nabil hangs on to it for dear life and just about gets second place for his troubles. Across the line though goes Naki Bazlan, 2 in 2. What a way to do so. And he had to do it spectacularly around the outside against his brother. It was an ultimately clean move, but that again is a statement of intent to the rest of the field that if they want to beat this guy, they have to do so by virtue of the fact they have to beat him fair and square. And that was a bit of love and war there.
A little bit of a love tap between these 2 drivers right now.
Yeah.
They know they've got the race under control. The Mario Hasnam there, 3 double consecutive third positions in both races. Oh my god. I'm speechless. That was an amazing race. We've seen some amazing passes. There's really nothing to say. That was a 10 out of 10 race, I think.
Yeah, on both counts. As the rest of the field come by through, I think Axel Nocom just about got in front of Kimo. Nico Sage does stay in front of Irfan Arifianto, and I don't think we have cameras for the other guys because it might be... We might not be able to interview some of the other drivers because, yeah, we can get Nakib on screen right now, but unfortunately, apparently he's got no mic. So, yeah, for the other drivers, maybe we can just skip the interview then. Or maybe we just go to Vladimir Malik if we can get him.
Let's see if we can get him to talk. Floody, can you hear us? Okay, he can hear us, but he's not muted.
Hello, hello.
Oh, there we go. Okay, all right.
All right. Damon, you can take it away first.
Oh man, how does it feel right now? You've won 4 out of 4 races over the last 2 rounds. How do you feel?
I think I'm just lucky enough to be up front.
I don't think luck had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That was an amazing drive you had over
Yeah,
the past 2
because,
rounds.
race one, what is that? Nicola, I think Nicola just right behind me.
Yeah.
Only under 1 second, I think, and I think I got lucky. That's all.
Okay, yeah, because Nicola did end up in a position where he unfortunately lost it near the end of the last race. So
Yeah,
he
actually, we can take out to that. What happened between you and Nico in the last lap there? Because he looked like he might have actually made a mistake there. But we'd like to hear from your point of view. What happened there?
I didn't see at my rear view. He just disappeared. I don't know what happened. Maybe at the chicane, I think.
Yeah, it would definitely happen near the chicane. I think he bottled it a little bit on the exit of the chicane. Right now, okay, so I'm gonna have your quick thoughts right now just before we close out the event for tonight. What are your hopes for the next couple of rounds? Do you hope to continue being this dominant right now?
Yes, of course. I hope I win again. Of course, everyone want to win, I think.
Well, that's actually quite a good way to end it off because been a dominant performance. Even with a drop round after this, you can take nothing away from such a good start to the season. So well done again, and we'll see you in the next run.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Cheers for that. And I think we might just be able to close off the show then because some of the other drivers probably be looking to just end the night, and especially because we're looking at our second screen, Nico's left his seat already, so he's a bit disappointed by that. But apart from that, Damon. Good.
What a night.
What a night.
What a night. Of course, we have some intense driving, and not just that, of course, consider the fact that we still have 2 more rounds. I won't be available for round 3, unfortunately, but I hope it will be just as intense as it was today. Because Copper League, Bronze League, Silver and Gold, all of them had amazing drivers and amazing races and amazing things that just happened during them.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it also made the championship more interesting in all of them because we got some very good races. But, yeah, whatever it is, we'll see you for the next round next week. And hopefully, we'll include some of the best action that we saw today next time around. But for now, from Damon, from myself, I'm Hazik, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.
I was so tired.